#1 for music, radio, and podcasting, all in one app.
iHeartRadio.
From the Audio-Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app. He's a Texas legend, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
Pitch, Stewart drives it left center field, hit well. Flying out to the warning track, it hits the warning track and bounces off the wall. Stewart cruises into second, a 2-run double, and she's driven in 3. The Longhorns lead 4-0 in the second. Will loop off the fists, drops in center field for Henry. Scoring is Nichols, and the Longhorns extend the lead to 12-2. Right-handed Stewart, 2-0. Demolishes it! Way back left field! A grand slam, and Texas leads 5-1, and Stewart has tied Reese Atwood's single-season home run record. Hit to right field, back goes Plotz at the warning track at the wall, it's gone! And Katie Stewart breaks the single-season home run record, her 24th of the year, and the Longhorns lead 9-2. First pitch on the ground with a high hop for Martinez. Bibby scoops it up and throws on to first, and the Longhorns run rule the Kentucky Wildcats. Texas sweeps the series and puts themselves in great position to try to get in that top 4 for the SEC tournament, which will be back here in just over a week.
From Hawkins Field on the campus of Vanderbilt University in Nashville, it's the Texas Longhorns against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Here's the 1-0 to Dave. Swings here, and it's a high fly ball, but it is hooking. Let's see. That's a home run. That is a home run. It hit the top of the wall and bounced over. That's a Carlton Fisk special right down the line, and it bounced off the top for Aiden Robbins, his 16th home run of the year, and the Longhorns take a 1-0 lead. We had a 1-out home run on top of the screen fence behind. The wall swings here, and it's a ball well. This one out to left center, back to the warning track. You can say goodnight to it. Aiden Robbins does it again. This time out to left center. Robbins home run number 17. RBIs 43 and 44 for number 43. And the Longhorns now lead it 4-0. Fly to right, stands in. Swings to the first pitch and drives it well. Out to right. You can say goodnight to it. Off the screen, behind the wall. Josh Livingston with his 4th home run of the season and his 2nd in his many road SEC games. He had one in the Saturday contest. And the Longhorns now have blown it open. They lead at 8-0. They go 1-0. Swings here, pops it up. This ought to do it. Coming in, Duplantier settles under. Gumbo with a catch, and that'll do it. 1-2-3 go the Commodores in the ninth. And the Longhorns take game 1 of the series. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Swung on and a ground ball, and that will make it up the middle, a base hit. Rodriguez around third. He will score. Ethan Mendoza ties it. 3 consecutive hits by the Longhorns, and it's a 2-2 ball game. The 2-2. And strike 3 called. He dropped it in again with that breaker. And that is now 6 strikeouts for Luke Harrison as he retires the Commodores in the 4th. The stretch. Here's the 3-0. Inside ball 4. The Longhorns take the lead on a bases-loaded walk to Temo Becerra. Trotting in to score from third is Carson Tinney. Moving to third base is Anthony Pack Jr. Moving up to second is Callum Early. And an RBI credited to Temo Becerra on a bases-loaded walk. The Longhorns are back in front, 4-3. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cozart, the stretch. Sam with a 1-2 pitch to Will Hampton. Swing and a miss. It's over. A foul tip into the mitt, and the Longhorns find a way to win the game and the series. Sam Cozart toughing it out, 63 pitches out of the pen. The Longhorns win it 4-3, and they take 2 out of 3 from the Commodores of Vanderbilt.
Important weekends for both Texas softball and Texas baseball. Softball with that 3-game series sweep of Kentucky in Lexington, which puts them in a much better position to be a top 4 seed for the SEC tournament with the end of the regular season approaching in softball. And in baseball, you know, in the Southeastern Conference, all the coaches say this. What you try to do is just win the series, win a series, especially on the road. And that's what the Longhorns had to do. And they came away with a series victory at Vanderbilt and are still in the upper tier echelon of the SEC. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the program here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone here on a Monday afternoon. My name is Craig Way. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate that. We're with you each and every weekday afternoon, Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., sometimes from the ballpark, and that's where we'll be tomorrow at UFC Udish Farr Field when Texas is back. What is that noise? Producer Jake Herman, what is that noise?
I'm trying to figure that out. I don't think it's coming from in here. Nope, that's coming from outside of this room.
Okay, somebody did doing something in the pardon our dust mode here at the iHeart compound. So some of that, I was wondering what that was. I thought it was a big rats or something. No, it couldn't be that. It couldn't be. I didn't know. That.
The sound of progress.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll work with it and around it and through it. So glad to have you with us today. And we'll be at the ballpark tomorrow. Texas will open its final extended homestand of the season, a 5-game homestand with the Bearcats of Sam Houston coming in tomorrow night. Then what is really shaping up to be a crucial, very important 3-game weekend series against Mississippi State. We'll have more on that coming up. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then they'll wrap up the 5-game homestand with UTSA coming to town a week from tomorrow. They do have one more home series after that. Following the 5-game homestand, they'll go to Knoxville over the weekend to play at Tennessee. And then they will be back at home for the final weekend series of the regular season. But no midweek game that week. As they crest final exam period and graduation, all that stuff. So the last midweek game is a week from tomorrow night against UTSA. That final week of the regular season, they have the 3 games at home, but it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series against Missouri at home because of the conference tournament starting middle of the following week. So they have to play that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So with all that in mind, we'll hear the post-game interviews with Jim Schlossnagle and with Sam Cozart, big parts of that. We're going to hear that. But in the 4 o'clock hour, Coach Schloss will join us live. They're going through some things today and some individual things, but he'll take some time away to join us in the 4 o'clock hour. So we'll visit with Jim Schlossnagle coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. There's a lot of other things to get to in addition to the college baseball. There's the NBA playoffs, the NFL draft is in the books now. Major League Baseball ongoing. NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are going on. We do have Inconceivable this hour as well. So we've got all those things coming up. Jake Herman, as I mentioned, is the producer. You see him on screen as well. That's by his design. You want to make sure you see him as well. No, it's important for people to see you. So especially when we're talking back and forth. You went down to H-Town for the weekend?
No, I was here. I was.
I thought you went down and then came back or something, because I know I had you yesterday as the studio producer for the Sunday game. So you hung out the whole weekend?
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times, been there and back in a weekend. But this weekend, I was here hosting the show Friday. Then I was up in Liberty Hill calling some high school baseball Friday nights.
Okay.
got a nice day with some friends on Saturday. Got to smoke some meats, say a little goodbye to a good friend that's been in Austin for a while and is moving away for a few months.
Oh, okay.
And then my Sunday, I came in and worked here for the Vanderbilt game. And after that extra inning thriller, got to
4 hours later after that.
Yeah, got to head over to the Moody Center, see the boss, Bruce Springsteen.
How about that? That's a way to spend the weekend.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. How long did he play?
About 2 hours, 50 minutes.
Well, he is 76 now, so he has to probably reining it in just a little under 3 hours now. That's the boss. In his heyday, when he was in his 30s and well into his 40s and stuff, he was playing regularly between 3.5 and 4 hours. I'll never forget my concert vending days. This would have been the River Tour for him in 1980. Comes to Reunion Arena in Dallas. Show started at 8 o'clock. Went straight through, no intermission, 4.5 hours. But it finally ended the show at 12:30 a.m. The last 3 encores of probably like 7 or 8 encores, the last 3 were done with the house lights up. They just kept going and kept going. So, but that was Springsteen back in the day.
And he's still doing that.
Yeah.
Turning the house lights up for the encore, Born to Run, 10th Avenue Freeze Out, Dancing in the Dark.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Good that you got to. You said you smoked meats. What kinds?
Let me be clear that I was a passenger in this experience. I was the moral support for the pork butt that was on the smoker from 9 a.m. till about 7 at night.
Okay.
Delicious.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
But every good meat chef needs a little coach to get them through it.
So you were coaching?
Well, not so much coaching, just providing the moral support, because it is a long day if you're sitting out there by yourself.
You were observing. Okay. All
not
right.
backseat driving.
Okay.
Just observing.
You might want to. I've seen a lot of commercials where guys is like trying to direct somebody else. They're invited over to their house for a cookout, not a barbecue, as I like to say. A lot of Texans say barbecue is a noun, not a verb. You grill, you smoke, that sort of stuff. But barbecue is a meat. It's not an activity. Come on over. We're gonna barbecue.
What accent is that?
I'm just saying. People saying it from other parts of the country outside of Texas. That's what I'm saying.
I've used barbecue as a verb before. You know what? I'll
because you're from the East Coast. I know, and right at the Mason-Dixon line, no less. That's where a lot of that. I have relatives in Jersey used to say, "Hey, we're gonna barbecue next week." You're gonna do what? You're gonna do what?
Every New Jersey transplant in Austin was probably at Moody Center last night.
That's a fair assessment. I'd say you're probably right about that. So anyway, good smoked meats then.
Yeah,
the pork came out good.
Worked out great. Little bit of a char at the end. Picked it up at the end.
That's
ready to take it out.
Right.
It's on fire. Okay. Let's put that out. But it was delicious.
Okay. All right. That's good. All right. So coming up next, we'll hear from Jim Schlossnagle from the post game. It is pretty interesting comments he made to Keith Moreland. And again, Schloss will be on with us in the 4 o'clock hour, and he'll join us live, and we'll have some follow up and some other things to talk about with this team. But we'll hear him discuss it with Keith Moreland. A recap of that. We'll also have the updated rankings in college baseball. The regional projections start to filter in tomorrow, but we'll take a look at the rankings, that sort of thing. And we've got to review the NFL draft. We've got to review the NFL draft. It's done. It's in the books. It was done by Saturday, but it's done. So we'll do that as well. As always, we're happy to have your thoughts, your questions, your contributions on our text line. All you have to do is text the word Texas, followed by your question or comment, to 81530. So text the word Texas, followed by your question or comment to 81530. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. And if you want to reach us via the TalkBack microphone, our TalkBack feature through the iHeartRadio app, it's very easy to do, easy to navigate, and it's free. So all you have to do is download the iHeartRadio app on your smartphone, be it an iPhone, Android, whatever, just you download the iHeartRadio app. Once you have it downloaded, in your search bar on there, little search magnifying glass or search window, whatever, in your search bar, you search AM 1300 The Zone, or station, AM 1300 Zone. It'll pop right up. And when it does, you're going to see two buttons. There's a white button that's like triangular shaped. That's to listen to what's going on in the air at the time. For purposes of reaching out to us, and especially when we do our contesting, and we will do contesting today. We'll tell you about that coming up. But when you do that, it's a red button with a white microphone. You tap that button, and it opens up the talkback microphone here at the station. So you can leave us a voice message of up to 30 seconds. Don't go beyond 30 seconds. It'll cut you off. But you can leave us a voice message of up to 30 seconds on any topic you care to discuss. That's all right. We only ask that you keep it family-oriented, or we keep it PG-13 or something like that. So we'll do that. And that's how we'll do it with our contest as well. We'll tell you more about that coming up. We'll review the NBA playoffs, tell you about where they are. So we got a lot to get to here on a Monday. Glad to have you with us right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone, and where you can always listen to us for free on the iHeartRadio app.
Phones, laptops, cars, smart speakers.
I use the iHeartRadio app.
All devices, all the time. Your home for the horns. 1300 The Zone.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ownwell. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ownwell.com/terms. Individual results may vary.
Ownwell has saved us over $2,000 in 2 years. Trying to protest your taxes on your own, it can drive somebody mad. Get onto Ownwell, create an account, input information about your house. They do everything for you, and it's amazing.
Your property taxes aren't set in stone. They can be reduced. Ownwell combines savvy technology and deep local expertise to save real estate owners real money. Plus, Ownwell handles everything from paperwork to negotiations and even attending hearings on your behalf. Ownwell saves you time and money. Want to see how much Ownwell can save you on your property taxes? Just enter an address and see your tax savings estimate. See how much you can save with Ownwell right now. Text HOME to 64,000. Text HOME to 64,000. That's HOME to 64,000.
Voters are listening to the radio, and they're really listening. If you're running for office, radio gets your message heard, not scrolled past. Reach communities everywhere and be on the air in just 48 hours. Go to winwithiheart.com. That's winwithiheart.com.
Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts. And most Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One N.A. Member FDIC.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you got to call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-444-9336, 800-444-9336, or biglou.com.
Now here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Fun. That's fun. Enter it now.
Hey, this is Jamie Loftus, and this is my new weekly show, 16th Minute of Fame. the podcast where every episode I take a closer look at an internet character of the day. Who were they? What made them so notorious? How did the internet, or sometimes the algorithm, choose them? And what does a person do when they're suddenly confronted with more attention than the human psyche can handle? Take The Dress, a story that went uber viral in early 2015 in spite of being, well, kind of a boring optical illusion. A mother of the bride in Scotland took a picture of a dress she was thinking about wearing to her daughter's wedding. But she saw the dress as blue with black lace, and her daughter saw it as white with gold lace. One BuzzFeed post later, every single person on the internet was talking about the dress. But to me, the dress is a story about the last couple of months when the internet was still sort of fun. It was shortly before the stories that spread across the internet stopped being driven by exploited millennials with useless arts degrees and started being decided by algorithms hell-bent on growing internet usership at all costs. And on a long enough timeline, the story of the dress is one entangled with abuse and media exploitation. Internet history is a tricky thing to be invested in. It feels like every time a bad business billionaire buys up another platform, history starts being erased. With the team at Cool Zone Media, we're taking these characters' 16th minute of fame to see what their moment meant to them and what it says about us.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
Back to Craig Way, the voice of the Longhorns on 1300 The Zone. It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
Got a wife and kids in Baltimore, Jack. I went out for a ride and I never went back. Like a river that don't know where it's flowing. I took a wrong turn and I just kept going. Everybody's got a
Here on a Monday, I take it Bruce did Hungry Hard.
Sure did.
As part of the show. Well, again, if the guy's playing 3 hours, he's going to play a lot of his catalog. Maybe not all of it. He's going to play a lot of it, though. It's good. And you said what? 10th Avenue Freeze Out was an encore?
That was the last song with the house lights up.
Yep.
And then he brought it down. He finished the show with the Bob Dylan cover, Chimes of Freedom.
Okay.
As he was delivering his prayer for America, he called it.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Here on the Monday, we'll get back to the college baseball in a moment, but let's do a little NFL draft review. A good place to start is King Draftnik himself, Mel Kiper Jr., because all the smoke had cleared, everything cleared out for the weekend. The 7 rounds are done in the books. Teams are now, by the way, in the process of signing free agents, signing them to have camp contracts. And I think the Longhorns had 7 guys wind up with camp invites contracts. So good for them, in addition to those drafted. But Mel had his draft grades. So those are always fun to pursue. We'll look over a couple of them. For example, Cleveland Browns, A. The Cowboys, A. Top needs entering the draft, edge rusher, linebacker, and cornerback. He's right. It was defense. And when the draft was coming down, and it had just finished up on Saturday, we're broadcasting the game Saturday night and at Vanderbilt. And I get a text from none other than our good friend Babe Laufenberg, who is the analyst on the Cowboys radio network, along with, of course, my teacher and mentor of some 7 years, Brad Sham. And Babe was listening to us, and he thought it was really funny how, I was carefully pronouncing the names as I do. And the guy who got the win in relief on Saturday and came back and pitched in yesterday's game, definitely not as effective, but pitched, a guy by the name of Luke Guth, and it's spelled Guth, Guth. And he goes, He goes, wow, that had to be fun to pronounce. Or somebody's texted me, and I said, it sounds like I'm saying Gus with a lisp, Guth. But I gave him a shout out on the air. I said, we appreciate all of you listening, including Babe Laufenberg, Dallas Cowboys Radio Network analyst. And he said, I'll listen to him and Brad Sham on every game. And I said, yeah, you can hear it on our sister station, 98.1 FM KVAT every game. So I said, the Cowboys had a good draft. And Keith said, they needed help with defense. Well, they got it. They definitely got it. As Mel Kiper said, you'll notice that the only top needs listed are on defense. The 2025 unit was outrageously bad on defense, 6.1 yards allowed per play, 30.1 points allowed per game. That was dead last. It was 31st in the yards allowed per play. Minus 153 EPA, that's last. 58.4 opponent QBR, quarterback rating, that's 29th. 47.3% opponent third down rate. Again, last. He said the list just keeps on going. Big plays had an especially big role in the Cowboys' defensive shortcomings as they allowed a league-high 54 plays of 25 or more yards. So it's no surprise that the Cowboys' first 3 picks and 5 of their 7 total came on that side of the ball. They made splashes in round 1, trading up for Caleb Downs and trading down for Malachi Lawrence. And so add to that, Jay-Sean Barham, the edge rusher from Michigan, was taken in the 3rd round. Then they went offense. Drew Shelton, the offensive tackle from Penn State, in the 4th round. Also in the 4th round, Devin Moore, the Florida corner. And in the 4th round, L.T. Overton, the edge rusher from Alabama, and then went with a wide receiver in the 7th round, Anthony Smith from East Carolina. So positive reviews, not only from him, but I think pretty much everybody who examined what the Cowboys did gave them positive grades. Now, I will always say this, that while Jerry Jones comes in for definitely his fair share of criticism, ridicule, lampooning, we do all that on this station as well, because sometimes it's low-hanging fruit. It's too easy. I mean, Jerry is Jerry. By the same token, it is important to give this organization its flowers, give them the credit when they do the right thing. And I think they did do the right thing. And and yes, Will McClay, and to a lesser extent, Stephen Jones, certainly the scouting department for the Cowboys deserve the lion's share of the credit. But Jerry does turn them loose to do that, to do the right thing. That's one area where he does give up to it because he's made mistakes sticking his nose in it in the past. And I think in this case, they did a really good job with him kind of standing back and said, keep me apprised, but go ahead. And they went forward and do it. I think it's a good draft for him.
And he didn't go out and reveal their board in any of the press conferences.
No, he didn't do that.
He didn't go out and, say any names wrong. No, I thought the Cowboys did an excellent job in this draft, Craig. They really got faster on defense. They're going to get smarter on defense with Caleb Downs. And they understood the assignment, and I think they delivered on it.
Yeah. Other grades of A, Raiders. Of course, they had the number 1 overall pick, needed a quarterback, and they got, Fernando Mendoza at number 1. Also in the 2nd round, Traden Stukes, the Arizona safety, in the 3rd round. Kieran Crawford, the Auburn edge rusher. Trey Zune III from Texas A&M, the center in the 3rd round. In the 4th round, good pick, I think, getting Jermon McCoy, the Tennessee corner, to start off that 4th round. So those were some of the ones there. That would Eagles, an A, much to the dismay of Cowboy fans. They got an A. Getting Mekhi Lemon, who I was hoping the team I root for, the Rams, were going to take him. They didn't. That's an entirely different kettle of fish, and we'll get to them. But anyway, those are the A grades. A-, Jets, who took David Bailey from Texas Tech, the edge rusher, Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon, definitely one of the better tight ends. That's in the 1st round. How about I'm going for Cade Klubnik down in the 4th round? there as well. So they went quarterback just in case as well. B+, Ravens. And then the Colts got a B+. Got C.J. Allen, the linebacker from Georgia, among those. Giants got a B+. So here you are with the division rivals of the Cowboys getting good grades. The Giants got Arvell Reese from Ohio State, the linebacker there. Colton Hood, the corner from Tennessee. Malachi Fields, the wide receiver from Notre Dame. So there were good ones there. Cardinals, B. Everybody really, really excited about Jeremiah Love out there in Arizona. Chase Pisanis, the guard from Texas A&M, was also, and they picked up Carson Beck, the Miami quarterback, in the third round there. Also with a B. Panthers, Bears with a B, who, of course, drafted Malik Muhammad in the fourth round. Bengals got a B. The Bengals drafted Jack Endries in the seventh round, the Longhorn tight end there. They also, of course, took Cassius Howley, edge rusher from Texas A&M in the second round. Lions got a B grade as well. Chiefs with a B grade. Chargers with a B grade. They took Akeem Mesidor from Miami in the first round. Brennan Thompson from Spearman, Texas, former Longhorn, former Oklahoma Sooner, and most recently Mississippi State Bulldog, was drafted. Miami Dolphins loaded up their roster with guys from the state of Texas.
There we go. Texas East.
You got Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech in the second round. Caleb Douglas in the third round from Texas Tech. Trey Moore, the Longhorns edge rusher, in the fourth round. Michael Taft in the fifth round, there, the safety. DJ Campbell in the sixth round. Those are all the guys from the state of Texas and all those Longhorns, plus the ones we mentioned that they signed as free agents as well. They got a chance. So there'll be opportunities there. New England Patriots, a B grade. Saints, a B. They took Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. Steelers got a B grade. Commanders, your Washington Commanders, a B grade. You were happy they drafted Sonny Styles and did not go offense with the first pick. They waited until the third round, didn't have a second round pick. In the third round, got Antonio Williams, the Clemson wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. They got a little lucky that Williams, I think, was still there. I wanted Washington to trade up, maybe back into the back of the first round, maybe into the second round to draft a receiver. I was hoping Concepcion or Omar Cooper was going to slip. That turned out to be pie in the sky, but I'm happy with where they ended up. Sonny Styles helps who was the worst linebacker room in the league last year outside of Bobby Wagner. So having Sonny and Bobby together, I think, will be a good recipe for the now and the future.
Other grades: Buffalo Bills, B minus. So let me just say this to recap: the lowest grade that any team in the NFC East got was a B. Commanders got a B, Giants got a B, and then what we said, Philadelphia got an A, Cowboys got an A, Cardinals in the NFC West got a B. I'm trying to think. So those four all got grades of A's or B's.
And all fell short of expectations during the regular season last year. So you had better draft capital.
Yep. And the other thing I was going to mention, we'll go to Buffalo, like I said, was a B minus. Seahawks, a B minus. They did get Jadarian Price, the other running back from Notre Dame. Bud Clark, the TCU safety, among those drafted. Buccaneers, a B minus. Falcons, a C plus. Broncos, a C plus. Packers, a C plus. You can see where this is going for my team. Texans, only a C plus out of that. Rams, C plus. He said, this still makes little sense to me. The Rams were 4 points from reaching the Super Bowl in February, losing to the Seahawks 31-27 in the NFC Championship. They won 12 games last season, and the offense looked unstoppable outside of Seattle, at least. It brought back league MVP Matthew Stafford for at least one more season, and then they added cornerbacks Trent McDuffie through trade and Jalen Watson through free agency to immediately fix their biggest issue. It was clear an all-in effort to go win another Super Bowl before life after Stafford set in. I had wide receiver and right tackle as my top two needs for the Rams, and I saw addressing either position in a meaningful way in round one as the potential topper on building a real no-joke contender. When Los Angeles got on the clock at number 13, Monroe Freeling and Blake Miller were there. Mekhi Lemon, who I projected the Rams to take in my final mock draft, was still there. It was all lining up for Coach Sean McVay and the Rams, but then Los Angeles shocked everyone and took Ty Simpson. On one hand, smart front offices try to plan ahead, moving on future needs before they actually develop. Stafford is 38 years old. He's dealt with various injuries over the past few years. Stetson Bennett was the only other quarterback on the roster, and there was no plan of any sort for a quarterback of the future. That's all valid. But taking Simpson here did not line up with the team's Super Bowl window and current trajectory. It did nothing to make the team better today. And I think that's what everybody was talking about, is today. Other grades, Titans with a C+, Jaguars with a C, Vikings with a C, 49ers with a C, and that wraps up the draft thing.
The 49ers are under some major heat for their draft picks.
Yeah. Every
Every time they made a pick, all of the analysts I follow were saying, wow, what a reach. They must really have a different evaluation on everybody.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It seemed odd to a lot of people. All right, so there's a little draft to review for you. Cowboy fans, take heart. Feel good about this. All right, up next, Inconceivable on a Monday afternoon on 1300 The Zone.
It's the Marketer's Report. In this edition, Heather Sparks, head of content at Zenith, the Publicist media agency, discusses the inherently human power of radio hosts.
I actually think DJs were the original influencers. You invited them into your home, you invited them into your ear, you built a relationship with them, you understood and trusted the things that were interesting to them. And yes, now that's got a full flywheel and it's very video based and there's a lot of different types of influence. And so thinking about the plethora of content, human created versus not human created, I think as humans, we're always looking to feel something. And so I think human connection is never going to go away.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to all the audiences, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow, and all guaranteed human. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
Booking.com has stays for absolutely anyone. For instance, imagine you're a vampire thirsting for a lively hotel. You'll find a Vegas resort near some great nightlife. Perfect. You may be undead, but you're the life of the party. And if the forecast calls for sun, at least there's free cancellation on most stays, so you can wait for the perfect weather. Gorgeous. If a vampire can find their perfect stay, anyone can. Find exactly what you're booking for. Booking.com, booking.yeah.
I need a little ranch, step to the ranch, come on, meet me at the
Introducing the new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club sandwich. With that juicy Chick-fil-A chicken on a buttermilk ranch bun, jalapeno ranch sauce, and pickled jalapenos, it's a little ranch with a lot of kick. The new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club with original spicy or grilled filet. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Baseball math is pretty doggone simple. You got 9 innings, you get 3 outs an inning, and of course you can get an ice cold Bud Light. But the one thing that you always are looking for is the batting average and more runs scored. That's how good your math can be. And actually, make it 2 Bud Lights, because Bud Light is the official domestic beer of Texas baseball. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's not just a radio app. It's what's happening right now.
It's on.
On the iHeartRadio app, you're not just listening. You're in it.
You better believe it.
From breaking news
Splashdown confirmed.
to what's happening in your community.
Local, national, and world.
Live moments.
Impacting millions.
Real voices.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest.
Amazing prizes. Plus, talk to your favorite hosts using the TalkBack mic.
I have loved always hearing you guys.
This is where culture comes alive.
I listen everywhere on the app.
Download the iHeartRadio app today.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
When 60 Minutes premiered in September 1968, there was nothing like it.
We realize, of course, that new approaches are not always instantly accepted.
I'm Seth Doan of CBS News, and I'm excited to introduce a new podcast from 60 Minutes called A Second Look. The team at 60 Minutes has spent the last year digging through thousands of tapes, transcripts, and reels of film. And you're about to hear some of the sound that was never broadcast, like 21-year-old Taylor Swift imagining her future success.
Sometimes I get really overwhelmed when I think about, 10 years from now, I'll be 30. What's the sound then? What are the choices I've made at that point? Oh my God, what does my life look like?
Then there are the people you may not recognize by name, but who witnessed some of the most important events in modern history. Along the way, I'll speak with some of the legendary correspondents who reported the stories, as well as those whose lives were altered after sitting down with 60. Together, we'll hear how much our world has changed.
You're working in borrowed time. You're not just saying that to scare us.
And how it hasn't.
You were either for the books or against the books. And it was almost like a civil war.
You can really draw a bright red line from 74 to 2024.
It's time for A Second Look.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
Burnt Orange, Bebo, and Ball. Craig Way is talking it all. Now back to the Craig Way Show on 1300 The Zone.
Inconceivable on a Monday does include a fast food, junk food update. And when it's available, we bring it to you. And we bring it to you today courtesy of our friends at Wendy's.
Okay.
You like Wendy's?
Yes, from time to time. I had a little Wendy's incident growing up.
Do tell.
I was road tripping up to Wisconsin.
Okay.
For my summer internship.
Okay. You said growing up.
Well, there's a backstory to this.
This is in the past 5 years, right?
Twice in Wendy's, once in my childhood and once over the summer.
All right. First of all, let's go chronological order. What happened when you were a child?
Same story twice.
Oh, okay.
Order the Frosty.
Yeah.
In the car, drinking the Frosty. Spill the Frosty.
Oh, so this wasn't a lactose intolerant.
This is a skill issue.
And you just spilled Frosty all over you?
Twice.
Wow.
Takes skill, right?
Yeah. But now you're to the point where if you're going to enjoy a Frosty, you'll do it in the restaurant, right?
Yeah, but every time we pass a Wendy's now, hey, Jake, remember that time? Yes.
Yeah,
yes, everybody.
I do. Well, you should know there's a new Frosty flavor coming out as part of Wendy's new spring menu, okay? This started this morning, actually. First of all, breakfast items, the jalapeno bacon breakfast potatoes. They have a jalapeno breakfast biscuit. You have that. Then, for the rest of the day, you have a jalapeno ranch cheeseburger. And then you have watermelon lemonade flavor. A watermelon lemonade. They have a watermelon sparkling energy drink, a Sprite watermelon. So clearly, the big emphasis is jalapenos and watermelon.
There it is.
And wait for it, the new
jalapeno watermelon frosty.
No, it doesn't say that. They have a cookie dough frosty fusion. So, just so you'll know what that is. A cookie dough frosty fusion. It said it may look like a blast from their twisted frosty past, but it's fairly different from that Nestle Whole House chocolate chip cookie dough twisted frosty they had about 20 years ago.
They cause you to blast as you're going past.
If you don't spill it in your lap, right?
Yeah, that's the key. That's the hurdle.
Okay. NFL draft related thing. Remember all the business with Diego Pavia, and he didn't win the Heisman, and he had the F-word Indiana thing at his party afterwards, and it got him a lot of negative heat. Then he was doing all these interviews, including with John Gruden, where he asked him who his agent when he was I'm representing myself. I don't think it's fair. So it should take 5 to 10%. Yeah, how that worked for you? Went undrafted. Now I saw he got signed as a free agent, but he went undrafted. He did not get drafted. And after saying the things that he said, like, for example, after going undrafted yesterday in a since deleted Instagram post, he wrote, F the NFL. He did more than just list the letter F. I write my own path. So,
the Ravens are the team that invited him to minicamp.
Yeah. So there it was.
First Heisman runner-up to go undrafted since Jordan Lynch, Northern Illinois.
Wow. Okay.
2013.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the deal. He went, did not go well for him on that. He was pretty upset after that, after going undrafted. He was quite disappointed off of that. So he'll get a chance to prove himself, I guess, with the Ravens. Okay, here's a bizarre story. Are you aware of something that the airlines, a couple airlines, especially Southwest Airlines, are experimenting with called a Titanic policy?
Oh, that's just what I want my policies to be named after.
Yeah. It's not what you might initially think about, if the plane crashes or something like that. It's not that.
It's not women and children first.
No, it's not that either. It's about cleanliness on the airplane.
Oh.
Now, this is what they're doing. They're trying out this policy. And I don't know if you ever wonder about it when you get on an aircraft and you wonder, or sometimes you're delayed boarding because they're cleaning the plane because it arrived late or whatever. So they're cleaning and preparing the aircraft is what they tell you. And then you get on and you see the cleaning crew that's, walking off that. Well, now.
And you open your tray and there's a bunch of, anyway.
Yeah. Well, Southwest is going through a trial policy that would see professional cleaners brought on to clean up the aircraft, but only for premium seats. So the cabin crew are currently expected to clean up between each flight, but this new test policy would introduce dedicated cleaning teams for the more expensive seats with the added leg room. A member of the flight attendants union compared the plan to first-class passengers on the Titanic having cigars and sipping brandy and telling their stories of their untold fortunes, while the lower classes below deck traveled in less salubrious conditions. So a union board member said he received a memo from the airline about the experiment that they're doing with cleaners coming on board and cleaning the aircraft, but only for the premium seats. And they said this was an insult to the passengers, and warned flight attendants could end up taking flack from passengers in the cheaper seats that aren't clean. He said, I know Southwest says, we don't have class service. This is class service. This is first-class seating. And now that you're bringing cleaners on board to provide a different cleaning product up front than you are in the back, this is definitely class service. When passengers see what's going on, they're going to be very upset. And who are they going to turn to about these complaints? They're going to turn to the working flight attendants that are on the airplane. I think it's right.
I'm sure Southwest has done their research on this, and you have to give them credit. This is something that is guaranteed based on what they figured out to make every last penny possible.
I guess. A spokesperson for Southwest did insist that flights will continue to be cleaned every day. Our flight attendants tidy every aircraft between every flight today. That will continue. And in addition, we're looking at potentially bringing in additional cleaners when needed and only at certain airports.
They did the cost analysis on this, and people will pay more for the clean seats without thinking how much of a big old sucker it is to the rest of the plane. That's terrible.
We will continue to make sure our aircraft are ready for every customer, regardless of where their seats are on the plane. So they're trying to, allay some fears with that. But the emails have already gone out saying this is going to happen.
I haven't flown Southwest in a while. I don't know if I will soon. The PR for them, every story gets worse. It's been 6 months in a row of this.
It's crazy because they used to be the most trusted and passenger-friendly airline.
Yeah.
Okay. Got one more deal. lately, there was a Virginia bank robbery. The case went cold, and local police turned to Google. And what they did was they served Google with a geofence warrant, which required the company to parse location data on millions of people to find a handful whose cell phones pegged them within 300 meters of the bank at the time of the robbery. And with that data in hand, the police solved the case. They have also triggered a constitutional challenge that is now being heard today in the United States Supreme Court. The justices today are taking up the case about whether these sweeping warrants, which are directed at tech companies rather than individual suspects, are consistent with the Fourth Amendment's prohibition on unreasonable searches. Several justices asked sharp arguments of both sides and appeared to be looking for a narrow outcome.
It's amazing, these tech companies, to win this case, right? They're going to be standing up for people's privacy all the time. And then in a different scenario, maybe they're on the other side.
Yeah. So that's the update. It's at the highest court today. They're talking about this. All right. We'll be back to wrap up hour number 1 on 1300 The Zone.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive. That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app. Upside? Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive. Does that actually add up to anything? Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app. Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code FUTURE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FUTURE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's FUTURE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
You'll use the radio in your car more than anything else. When buying a new car, make sure the AM/FM is simple, clear, and convenient.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Whoa. Okay, this one says you get a free phone if you switch. Hey, this one also says you get a free phone if you switch.
Yeah, they all do, hon.
Wait. The T-Mobile one says families saved over $3,700 versus the other big guys in the past 5 years. And their experience plans have Netflix included, plus a year of Dash Pass by DoorDash.
Hang on, let me see that. And a 5-year price guarantee? Oh yeah, we're switching.
That's what I'm talking about. Do we clap now or?
I'm thinking high five.
At T-Mobile, get savings that keep stacking up. That's value you can feel every day. Switch now at T-Mobile.
Savings based on Harris X billing snapshots from Q3 2021 to Q4 2025 among accounts with 3+ voice lines compared to AT&T and Verizon, excluding discounts, credits, and optional charges. See harrisx.com/T-Mobile. Price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com.
Once you dabble in Taco Bell's Luxe Boxes, including the $5, $7, and $9 box with its triple-double crunch wrap, you might think dinner includes a chauffeur. It doesn't. However, it does include a drink. Choose your Luxe Box at Taco Bell today. For a limited time while supplies last. Specialty drinks excluded. Tax extra.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
Just before midnight on Saturday, February 19th, 2005, Danielle Imbo and her friend Richard Patrone left a crowded Philadelphia bar. The two 30-somethings planned to walk to Richard's truck and drive home, but they never made it.
It does not make sense. It's like they literally vanished.
The two were never seen again.
Not just them, but a truck disappeared into the ether.
Was it an accident, or were they murdered?
No one had a motive to kill them.
Those same questions frustrated law enforcement. The FBI called it murder for hire.
Who killed these two individuals and how did they get rid of them?
Both of them weren't the target. One of them was the target. The other one was wrong place, wrong time.
But which victim was the intended target and why?
It was definitely murder for hire for Danielle, not for Richard.
You're right, it could be. But it also could be something your son did too.
No one was looking to kill Richard. No one.
He's your son, and in your eyes, he's innocent. But in my eyes, he's just some guy my sister was with.
Fingers were pointed, allegations were made, and lines were drawn.
That drove the wedge between the families.
What happened to Danielle and Richard?
I think that whatever happened to my dad and Danielle was planned and orchestrated and thought out.
I'm Andrea Gunning. In this series, I dig into my own investigation to find answers for the families and get justice for Richard and Danielle.
I just want some peace for my sister's soul, and I want some peace for my mother.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
We all use AI, but here, it never pretends it's real. AM 1300 The Zone. Guaranteed human.
Okay, first hour in the books here. In hour number 2, well, it's more college baseball to discuss. NBA playoffs, going to get to that as well. Victor Wembanyama, really mild-mannered, pleasant fellow.
Thoughtful.
Showed a non-mild-mannered unhappiness about him with what happened with his concussion protocol. We'll hear some things about that coming up. So we'll look forward to that. We'll hear from Jim Schlossnagle. We'll hear from Sam Cozart. And coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, Coach Schlossnagle will join us live. And we'll get his thoughts on his team now with 3 series left in conference play. Hour number 2 coming up at 1300 The Zone.
You get them with your health.
So why not with your wealth?
Your stock market investments deserve a second opinion.
At Henyon & Walsh, it only takes a second
to schedule your free second opinion.
Go online and search for Henyon & Walsh, the second opinion people. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Henyon & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Henyon & Walsh Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic, the delicious daily detox that will keep you feeling your best. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon or pick up some at your local CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet lives.
That red talkback mic on the free iHeart app, it's more powerful than it looks. One tap can get you in the conversation.
You guys, are you serious?
Enter to win something amazing.
That $1,000
or just a request. Try it now. Just open the free iHeart Radio app.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
1971. It was a simpler time, a groovy time. Soul Train had just started chugging along. Everyone had a lava lamp for some reason. Weeble started to wobble, but as we all know, they don't fall down. It's really something. But it wasn't all Weebles and bell-bottoms. There was also the Vietnam War and a growing nationwide movement protesting it.
Look behind you. See the thousands marching today.
Across the country, people were speaking up, and the more they did, the more they learned about the hidden underbelly of the most powerful law enforcement agency in the land. I'm Ed Helms, host of Snafu, Season 2, Medberg, the story of a daring heist that exposed J. Edgar Hoover's epic FBI snafu. Hear the incredible true story that almost got buried.
I was told that it might not be published the next day or might not be published ever.
As told by the ordinary citizens who took extraordinary measures.
Getting caught was virtually inevitable.
To expose J. Edgar Hoover's secret FBI.
Many of the techniques were clearly illegal, but justified in the interest of national security.
If it meant some risks that were involved, well, that's what citizens sometimes have to do.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
From the Audio Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KDET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeart Radio app. He's a Texas legend, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
Second hour of the program here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Beginning a brand new work week on Monday. For those of you for whom Monday is just that, first day of the 5-day or longer work week. Hopefully we can help you navigate day number 1 of that. There are those of you for whom Monday's the middle part of the week, so good for you. Good on you. And for those of you that it's at the, end of the week, even better. Hope it all goes well for you. Craig Way is my name, alongside the producer, Jake Herman. Did you get to watch much NBA over the weekend?
Not as much as I would have hoped. I saw a good chunk of the third game between the Blazers and the Spurs.
Okay.
The one where the Spurs played without Wembanyama, climbed out of that. I think it was a 14 or 15-point deficit to win in the fourth quarter, and I was really impressed.
Yeah. They've had, the biggest concern right now for the Spurs seems to be, why are you digging yourselves a hole like that? They became the first team, you know me, I like all these unusual numbers. The first team in NBA history to trail by 15 or more at the half and win by 15 or more in playoff history. So they look pretty good. And as you pointed out, Wemby didn't play in Game 3. He was cleared to play in Game 4 1 hour before tip. Now, he apparently, and he had said something, I think, to Malika Andrews about it, telecast, he was not pleased with the way it was handled. It was kind of oblique in the way he described it. He didn't want to get into detail. He got into detail on the floor. He got in. And one thing we've seen, by the way, and we can definitely mention this in this Denver-Minnesota series, but also to a lesser extent at Spurs, things are getting chippy. They're getting chippy in these playoff series.
Low scoring, physical, defensive series everywhere. And I don't mind it at all. I mean, I hate the injuries, right?
Yeah, nobody wants to see anybody get hurt.
I hate that the Timberwolves are so banged up, because even if they advance now, it doesn't feel like they can make a serious run without Edwards and DiVincenzo.
Which is weird because, when they both got hurt, they seemed to get stronger from it at that point and win the game. We'll get back to them in a minute, but back to the Spurs. So they were very impressive in their win. And then Victor Wembanyama gets into the post-game press conference. And he was asked about, the turnaround and down 15, and he expressed concern. He said, yeah, we got to do a better job of not digging that kind of hole, be more together. But he talked about how together they were. Then came the questions about his situation and how he was cleared 1 hour before game time. And by then, the thread had gone through where folks had heard that he had not been happy with the NBA's decision not to clear him for Game 3, and then all the way up until 1 hour before Game 4 to clear him. A guy who went through the 72-hour protocol, showed no symptoms, practiced with the team, flew to Portland with the team on Friday, and yet was not cleared, and was only cleared 1 hour before the game yesterday. So here's what happened in the press conference when reporters were just trying to find out what exactly was the timeline. And Wemby didn't want to get into it, but you get the gist of what he's saying in his frustration, not with the Spurs, but with the league.
At what point tonight did they let you know for sure you were going to be able to play? Like, how long did you have to wait?
I want to answer this question.
Anyone else? Right here in the middle.
They, who do you mean by they? Let me ask you the question. Who do you mean by they? Okay, I won't answer.
Just to clarify, it's not the Spurs staff at all. It's the league.
It's the NBA.
The league appointed doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, the doctors on either side were great.
So he said, let me ask you, to the reporter, who is they? Who is they? And I'm glad he did that because media has a really bad habit of phrasing questions like, there would be those who would say, or there are those who insist, or there are reports, in other words, trying to push it off on somebody else.
What do you say to those who...
Yeah, that. Now, in this case, that was not the case. They just wanted to know the timeline. But when Wembanyama comes back with who is they, he wants to know who they, which is good. I think that question needs to be asked by athletes of media whenever they go down that hiding behind the curtain of there are reports that indicate you, or there are things that say they. No, you ask the question if you're going to do that. And so he said, who was they? And then you can't really hear the answer. But what the answer was, we found out, was the words medical professionals. Who is they? The medical professionals. Medical professionals of who? Medical professionals assigned by the National Basketball Association. So their medical professionals did not clear him, or the communication with the league office to clear Wembanyama to play was a little murky. And so he gets cleared 1 hour before. He said he was fine and was ready to go in Game 3. In hindsight, it's probably just as well that he didn't play. Got another day of rest. The Spurs rallied back. They won the game. Now they have this commanding lead. So I would say that things are well in hand for the Spurs off of that.
And that was true after they won Game 3. You felt like that was a real growing up moment for the young core of the team that does not include Wembanyama, the guys like Castle and Harper and Vassell, who stepped up big time in that game.
Yeah, and so it's a valid question for not only Wembanyama to ask, but it's a valid question in terms of the Spurs overall to ask, what's the holdup here? What are we doing if everything's been cleared? And as he continued to say, the Spurs doctors have cleared me. They've been great. What it also does is it builds up a bit of resentment. It builds up some antipathy toward the league saying, are you suggesting that our doctors are just trying to slide this by and say, no, he's good to go? Because that's insulting to them to say that when their doctors thoroughly went through all the protocols, all the procedures, and said he was cleared. And yet the NBA goes, yeah, we need to wait a little longer. And I could see where they would get frustrated about that.
Yeah, I mean, these are team employees, the doctors, but also do no harm. I mean, that's number one.
You're under your directive to do it.
And
Anyways.
with Wembanyama, you're going to be extra cautious, you'd assume, from the outside looking in anyway.
Yeah. All right. So the Spurs can wrap it up tomorrow night at home. And I think they probably will, since they're up 3-1. Now, let's talk about the other series. We'll keep it in the West. Since we did bring it up, this business of Minnesota and Denver. And things really, really got chippy at the end of, at the end of the game. And the series itself had been a little bit chippy anyway. It had started to get that way. But it kind of went to a different level when what was it, at the last second the ball's flipped out down the floor and the game is over. The T-Wolves are going to win. Who was the win in for the slam dunk? It was win in for 2 nonsense points. It didn't matter.
I was going to say, I don't think it was McDaniels. I'm confusing that with earlier in the series.
No, I think it was.
Oh yeah, well it would track.
And then yeah, because he's the one who said Denver played no defense.
Well, yeah, they're not playing defense because you're running the clock out.
Right. Okay. So then he goes in, and then you see, things get really, really uncomfortable. I think it's a good way to describe it. It got very uncomfortable when this happened at the end of the game, and you had Nikola Jokic race down the floor, and somebody said it was the best defense he played in the entire series, or the fastest he moved in defense. And then he were reminded, no, this was offense he was doing. He was taking offense at it because, and he went down the floor afterwards because the dunk had already happened at that point. And so Jokic has had some really unimpressive numbers in this series, very Nikola Jokic-like numbers, and the Timberwolves, I think, have taken advantage of that.
And I think it stems back from the shot he passed up at the end of game 2. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm not inside of his head, but it's hard to forget that.
Yeah, I think so. And anyway, so it was a pretty heated exchange there. Then you get to Lakers-Rockets. Looked like Lakers had everything wrapped up, ready to go. Rockets come out and did play inspired last night, and they won handily. And Ime Udoka was asked what he liked about his team's performance in the victory last night.
I think our aggressiveness was on display from the start. First time holding them outside of 30-point first quarter, so much better effort there, defensive intensity across the board. I loved our ball pressure, forcing 24 turnovers for 30 points and 17 of those being steals. So our activity was great, and that's made the difference from the start.
Yeah, okay. So there was that. Then, in addition to that, Alperen Sengun got whacked pretty hard by DeAndre Ayton. It brought about a flagrant 2. And I think pretty much everybody, I think, was taken by surprise that an F2 was called, a flagrant 2 was called. And Ayton was ejected, and Udoka was asked about that.
I mean, it looked intentional, but I was surprised at the flagrant 2, but that's the NBA nowadays, and they call it a little softer than they used to.
A little softer is one way to describe it. What's also being talked about is Sengun had a speech to the team at the shoot around, and what was it that he said to them to help inspire them to get their first win in the series?
I'm not I didn't give up on this series, and I just wanted to let everybody know, and I just want to did it like something different, just going to the games, watching the films, I just wanted to do something different, and I'm glad it worked, and everybody came out to play today, and hopefully everybody mindset has changed going to the fifth game, and we saw it today, so I'm really happy for that, and I'm really happy for it. Yeah.
Okay, and then this series, just like the others, tense, confrontational, and there was some of that at midcourt at the end. And J.J. Redick, the Lakers coach, was asked about that.
I don't know if you guys have ever been walked down like a street. Not that I have walked down like Bourbon Street or Beale Street in Memphis much, but sometimes when you walk down those type of streets, you see something going on inside one of the bars or clubs, and you kind of want to just peek your head in. I didn't know what was happening, so I just kind of walked over there to peek my head in. Didn't feel like anything was happening, so we left.
Thank you, JJ. That's most basketball fights.
Yeah, right.
Nothing's happening in there. Now, the end of the Timberwolves game, there were some things happening.
That was different. But anytime you have kind of a mix-up like that, chances are Marcus Smart is somewhere in the mix.
Yeah.
In that. And he was.
And flopping.
Well, it is Marcus Smart. So still in all, credit to the Rockets for finding enough in a reserve without Kevin Durant to bounce back and win the game. The game they're going to look back forlornly is game 3.
Yeah.
Up 6 with 30 seconds to go.
Getting LeBron'd.
Yeah, they were right back in the series if they hold on and it gets away, and LeBron is a big part of it. Not that LeBron has been error-free. He has been pickpocketed several times in this series. And he kind of took the blame for that last night, said, my turnovers really cost the team. Didn't help.
Welcome to playing the Houston Rockets. That's what they do. They get right up in your grill. The Lakers have been able to match that for enough long stretches in the series to stay in control. And the fact that they're doing this without Reeves, without Doncic, it's pretty encouraging if you're thinking about, can they hang with OKC if they move on?
Speaking of which, we're certainly expecting them to move on, and it's probably going to happen tonight. They're playing game 4 in Phoenix. They're up 3-0. Unlike the Houston Lakers series, I don't think there's any reason to think this thing is going to get beyond 4 games.
Those Suns players have had their flights booked for Cancun tomorrow morning for about a week and a half.
Yeah.
Like I said when we previewed the bracket, this series could have been an email. It's just not a fair fight.
And Minnesota and Denver play tonight as well, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah, how about that? Minnesota going to play without Edwards, without DiVincenzo. Denver going to play for their postseason lives. And
I expect the Nuggets will bounce back tonight, especially at home.
Do you think they can still win the series, though, from down 3-1?
Game 6 will determine that. I think they're winning tonight. If they can find a way to win game 6 in Minneapolis, all bets are off going to game 7. It's not that common that teams come back from 3-1, but it's happened often enough in the NBA where teams come back from 3-1. Tonight, Detroit's playing at Orlando in the East. Detroit, the 1 seed. Orlando has a 2-1 lead. This thing is critical mass for the Pistons. If they don't win and it gets to 3-1, now it's going to be similar to the Denver thing. They'd be going back home for game 5. But I think Orlando is playing at a high enough level that if Detroit does not win this game tonight, and offensively they just look inefficient right now. Sometimes Cade Cunningham has been missing in action, and when he's not on the floor, they're really in trouble. If they don't turn it tonight, obviously they're down 3-1, and then I don't think they will recover from it at that point. Unlike Denver, I think still has a shot.
And the Magic are in here playing with house money, right? Coming off those emotional wins in the play-in tournament, like you and I discussed. And meanwhile, the Pistons just can't get anything going, particularly from their bigs. Jalen Duren has not been anything close to himself in the series. He would take a lot of pressure, I think, off of Cunningham if he's able to find his form.
That's true. All right, so they're tonight. Tomorrow, I think the Celtics will finish off the Sixers, game 5 at home in Boston. I think they'll handle that. Atlanta, New York, it's flipped. And now it goes back to New York, even though it's 2-2. The series that has surprised and raised my eyebrows is Cleveland-Toronto. And Toronto came back with a late 11-2 run to win. Now it goes back to Cleveland. on Wednesday. But that series is tied 2-2. And I think that's still up in the air, that series.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you expect out of a 4 versus a 5.
Yeah.
And look, the Cavaliers I find much more fun to watch than the Raptors, but I got to credit Toronto. I thought they would roll over after falling behind 2-0 in the series.
I agree with that. All right, up next, we shift back to college baseball, give you the updated rankings. Those are out. We'll hear from Jim Schlossnagle. We'll also hear from Sam Kozart when we continue on 13 Under the Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Wake up with Harge and Henry in the morning kickoff.
Those ribs were incredible. You talking those ribs, those breakfast ribs?
I said, hold up. Wait a minute.
Did you say breakfast? Breakfast. Breakfast ribs. I was not going to hit it. I was going to let it go. I was going to let it slide. He was over here laughing at himself. Yeah. What a way. It's too early. What a way to start the day.
Weekdays at 7.
I know that the area needed the rains of springtime, but I'm happy to move on to the sunny days. And I'm glad that I wasn't involved in an accident on a rain-slicked I-35 or Mopac, because I saw several accidents. Now, if you were one of the unlucky ones involved in an accident and you need some legal help, call my friend Dan Christensen at DJC Law. The number is 512-888-9999, and you can call them anytime, day or night, 24/7, 365. They're available around the clock to provide assistance when you need it most. And if you can't come to them, they will come to you at home, in the hospital, even by Zoom. This is a veteran-owned law firm. In fact, DJC Law is the largest Austin-based veteran-owned personal injury law firm in Texas. They have thousands of five-star Google reviews with over 30 years of serving Austin and the surrounding communities. Give DJC Law a call at 512-888-9999. That's 512-888-9999. Your road to justice begins with DJC Law.
If you care about predictions and props, right now, it's all about playoff pressure from the hardwood to the ice. BetOnline has always been the home of real sports wagering deep markets, sharp odds, and player props built for real fans. Basketball playoffs are heating up, stars taking over, series swinging on a single shot. And in hockey, it's all speed, grit, and sudden death moments where one goal changes everything. BetOnline delivers live betting and in-game odds that move with every bucket, every breakaway, every goal. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Introducing Home Care Plus, a new subscription service from Lowe's that helps make life easier by giving members a hand with home maintenance. Let Lowe's tackle the tasks you keep meaning to do, like electric dryer vent cleaning, replacing hard-to-reach light bulbs, and more. Subscribe to Home Care Plus for just $99 a year and consider your to-do list done. Members get more at Lowe's. Available in select zip codes only. Cancel anytime. Non-refundable fee. Product purchase required. Terms and service restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you running for office and have a message you want every voter in your district to hear? Well, that's where radio comes in. Radio is your direct line to morning commuters, midday grinders, and late-nighters. Radio puts your message right where your voters are. Plus, it's 1/10 the time and cost of video. Don't just campaign. Connect with millions all over the country, even thousands in the smallest communities with radio. Call now and be on air in just 48 hours. 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart.
Now here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Win. That's win. Enter it now.
You guys just didn't want it bad enough. That should have been an easy win. What were you doing out there? You got to hustle. You could have made that play if you'd been open.
On the car ride home after the game, when you think you're helping by telling me what I did wrong and what I need to work on, all I hear is that I'm not good enough, that I'm supposed to be perfect, that it's not okay to lose. On the car ride home, all I need to hear is how much you love me and enjoy watching me play, that my worth isn't determined by my performance, that even on my worst day, I am worthy, that you see me learning, growing, and doing my best. And that is enough.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Washington Secondary School Athletic Administrators Association.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. Our blood runs orange. Welcome back to the Craig Way Show and the voice of the Longhorns, Craig Way. Follow Craig on social media at Horn Boys.
Love, love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please love me do. Ooh, love me do.
Here on a Monday afternoon. All right, so I'm kind of interested in this is, one of the Beatles' first hits in England in 1962. So your motivation for picking this one?
Well, nothing too crazy. I just, it's been a while since we heard from the Beatles on the show. We don't like
So
to
you
let
go
it
with
go
Love
too
Me Do.
long.
Okay, yeah, especially after all of that on-court confrontation stuff, right? That's going on in the NBA.
Right, and, who we'll hear from in a little bit from the UT baseball. They talked about loving their teammates, wanted to put everything on the line for each other.
Yes, that is a spoiler alert. You're going to hear that coming up. Longhorns did rally back, and they won as they defeated Vanderbilt in Nashville. Interesting scene there in Nashville at Hawkins Field. I had several people comment on this from the social media post I had with photos of different places around the ballpark, on the field, from the broadcast booth. And Saturday morning, I went up to the top floor of the parking garage that was kind of beyond the right field corner off to the right. And in part because they said you can park for free up there. Now, the team was staying at a hotel that was literally walking, not just walking distance, literally 150 yards maybe from the back door of the hotel to the ballpark. I mean, it was very, very close. In fact, the team walked back and forth.
Just out of foul ball range.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, you have the ballpark, and then directly beside it was, I think it's called First Bank Stadium, the football stadium. Beyond the left field fence, you had Memorial Gymnasium where the basketball team plays. So you had all of that. It was pretty tightly compressed. And then above it to the right, like I said, was the parking garage. And from the top floor of that parking garage, from the roof, I could see the women's lacrosse match going on between Vanderbilt and South Florida there that was going on early Saturday afternoon. South Florida ended up winning the match, by the way. So it was that. But I took a picture from up on top, and I said, this is not from the broadcast booth. It's just, and it was an interesting viewpoint. It looked very, very scenic. But I had a lot of folks ask me, that all looks really tightly compacted. It is. I mean, it's right there. There were several foul balls that went to the left side that rattled around in the girders underneath the football stadium.
Ugh.
I mean, it was tight. The coaching boxes were, Keith Moreland and I estimated they were probably, 4 feet at the most from the dugouts.
Wow.
And right in the line of fire. I mean, the guys had to have their head on a swivel.
Well, and that contributes too. You think about the numbers, what makes it a hitter-friendly ballpark.
That's it. Keith talked about it being such a hitter-friendly ballpark because shots that would be pop-ups that you could get at places like Sunken Diamond in Palo Alto, California, or other places like that. No, they're just foul balls to go out of play, and it gives the hitter another opportunity and a chance to go on from there. Same thing on the first base side. Balls were flying over to the right side toward a walkway and actually even toward tennis courts. So a lot of their athletic facilities are all really tightly compressed and compacted right in that one area.
I was going to say, imagine trying to play tennis and you're in foul ball or home run range.
Yeah.
Second serve.
Yeah, you would have that as well. So anyway, Longhorns take 2 out of 3, and it was a high-stress, high-leverage game yesterday. Texas was down 2-0. They tied the score in the 6th, took the lead in the top of the 8th. Sam Kozart comes out in the bottom of the 8th. You're expecting him to have, but he hit a batter and then gave up a double down the line with a runner in motion to tie the score. But he got out of the 8th with a couple of big outs, and then got out of a situation in the 9th, and then the Longhorns scored in the top half of the 10th inning on a bases-loaded walk to Temo Becerra, and then in the bottom of the 10th, they still had the tying run at third and the winning run at second when Kozart came back and got a huge strikeout to end the ballgame. Jim Schlossnagle, after the game, visiting with our Keith Moreland, talking about how this drama ended in a place where it didn't matter. It's on the road in the SEC, and that's all you have to know.
Skipper, I said that winning on the road is like a heavyweight fight in the SEC. No, it's not. It's a cage fight in UFC. Yeah. That's what this is every time you go on the road in this conference.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so proud of our team. So every opportunity in that game to cash in and not make a pitch or not make a play. We didn't swing the bat great. Vanderbilt played awesome. 2 really good teams going at it, but it's been a while since I've been as proud of a team as I am this one right now.
Well, and everybody made contributions from top to bottom, but you got to start with the guy you just gave the lineup card to, Sam Kozart.
Yeah, I mean, I asked Max before we went out in the last inning and said, what's Cozy saying? He said, I'm going to die on the mound for this team. So how do you respond to that, especially to an 18-year-old?
Congratulations on the win. What a great victory. This is about as good. This is as big as we've had.
As big as we've had in a really long time, certainly this year. So safe travels, Hook.
Yeah. So there was that. And he talked about Sam Kozart, who has been virtually untouchable until that 8th inning yesterday when Vanderbilt tied it and had the go-ahead run in scoring position in the bottom of the 8th. He got out of it there. And then in the 9th, worked around a base runner in the 9th. And then with the tying and winning runs in scoring position, got the big outs to end the game.
But even then, that 8th inning, Craig, right, one ball was hit hard.
Yeah.
And it just found the right spot with the runner already moving.
Well, that was, they had a pinch runner after the one guy got hit by a pitch. And they had a pinch runner, had great speed. You could tell he was off. And
there may be 2 loud sounds off of bats his whole relief outing. One was the line out, and then you had that base knock.
Yeah, and he was sitting dead red. He was looking for fastball on the first pitch as Kozart went to him, and he turned on it, and it wasn't fair by much, but it was fair, and it was down in the corner, and you knew that was going to tie the score. But he worked through that, and then he worked through the 9th, and he worked through the 10th with the tying and winning runs in scoring position to get the victory as he visited with Keith afterwards.
Sam, true freshman, thrown into this environment, on the road in the SEC, and your head coach just told me that you said you weren't coming out of this game unless you died on the mound. Just talk to us about that.
Yes, sir. I would be willing to die for this team any day. I love these guys, and I told Max and Slosh that this is my game. I'm going to die for them. No matter what happens, I'm going to go out there and compete my hardest.
And there's times when you go out, you have a better fastball than you have your other pitches, but it was a great mix today. I thought during times today, I thought you had an exceptional breaking ball, and then times today, you see that life on that fastball.
Yeah, today was just, we used everything. We used the splitters, we used the curveballs, the cutters, and the sliders, and the fastball a lot too. So I think it was just a game where we had fun and we competed.
Now, when you go back out, unfortunately, you give up a run. It's tied. Now, when you go back out, it's your mindset change?
Not at all. It's just a 0-0 ball game every time. If you make it like that, then no situation is any different than the last. So just make it simple.
Heck of a job. Thanks for visiting with us.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and again, that's a true freshman doing that, saying I'll die on the mound for this team if I have to. I'll do what I have to do to make it happen. So
he sounds even like less of a freshman than he looks.
Yeah, and he's pretty imposing looking for a true freshman. All right, we're going to jump to some college football thing. And again, a reminder, Jim Schlossnagle joins us live next hour. So we'll get some comments from Schloss. Of course, the Longhorns play Sam Houston tomorrow at 6:30. You can hear that on 103.1 FM and, of course, all the apps, the iHeartRadio app, the Texas Longhorns app, and online at texaslonghorns.com. 6:30 tomorrow night, 6:15 pregame start time. Keith and I will have the game for you. Texas against Sam Houston tomorrow. And then Mississippi State comes into town. Mississippi State on a roll now. Here's a freaky statistic for you. Mississippi State's first conference series was taking 2 out of 3 from Arkansas. Every one after that, the 6 series they've had after that, has been a sweep one way or the other. Every single one has been a sweep. Either they've won it in a sweep or lost it in a sweep. And they had back-to-back sweep defeats after starting 7-2. And now they flipped the script and they have back-to-back sweeps of series of Tennessee and LSU, who is all but dead for getting into the NCAA tournament now.
Unbelievable.
As a defending national champion. They've just hit rock bottom right now, or next to rock bottom. They're in 15th place out of 16 in the SEC standings. But so Mississippi State's on a roll, and they're 13-8 in conference play. 1 half game back of Texas. Texas is 13-7. Longhorns are 1 game back of Texas A&M, who's 14-6. And then, of course, you have Georgia, who's leading the league at 15-6 in conference play.
So that means in this year's SEC, there's, you're a half game in front of somebody. What does that put? Half the league in between?
Yeah, it's and there's a big log jam around 11-10 in the conference, 10-11 in the conference. There's that. But this is going to be a big series for Texas. They're all big. Every week we talk about that. But they're playing a team on a roll now who's surging late in the season.
That's why winning a series on the road is so good.
So critical, no doubt about it. And they'll have Mississippi State at home this weekend before they go to Knoxville to play Tennessee, and then they'll come back home to conclude the regular season against Missouri. Up next, college football note, rather troubling one. We'll get to that when we continue on 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Did you know cornhole is an international sport with televised tournaments and players across the world? At theacl.com, home of the American Cornhole League, you can find local events to play in, learn the game, shop for boards and bags, and follow our National Pro Tour. Whether you're a beginner or already a backyard legend, it all starts at theacl.com.
Get ready, Austin. The Dallas Wings take on the Las Vegas Aces live at Moody Center on May 3rd. Don't miss this WNBA preseason showdown. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
Austin, San Antonio, and St. Louis.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Some days, self-care starts with Nature-Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm going to have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
AM 1300 The Zone occasionally holds contests. For more information about contests on this station, go to am1300thezone.com/rules.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say.
Yep, that's me, Clifford Taylor IV. And on my new podcast, The Clifford Show, I'm bringing you raw, unfiltered conversations with your favorite athletes, creators, and media personalities. Each week, we'll talk about sports, life, mental health, purpose, and even music. The Clifford Show is not just a conversation, it's a celebration.
Search The Clifford Show on iHeartRadio, America's #1 podcast network, and the Webby Podcast Company of the Year.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
Chicago, 1989.
White victim, female, pretty, wealthy.
A white woman's murder shocks the city. A black man from the projects comes forward with information about the case.
He says the police are his friends.
But out of nowhere, he goes from star witness to prime suspect.
And then that's it. They turn on him.
The system is hungry for a conviction. Lee Harris is sentenced to 90 years.
I get 90 years for killing somebody I have never seen.
Behind bars, Lee finds an unlikely ally in his cellie, Robert. The pair are like chalk and cheese. There's no way their paths would ever cross on the outside. But as a fellow inmate, Robert sees through the lies and vows to do the unthinkable. Clear Lee's name.
This is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at Pontiac Correctional Center.
If you're with me, you're golden. I'll take care of you.
Oh, I'm gonna be with you. You stuck with me for life.
Together, they wage a 20-year war against Chicago's darkest corners. Corrupt detectives, jailhouse informants, an entire system built on fear. This is the Crying Wolf Podcast, a story of two men bound by injustice, a friendship forged where hope is almost lost, of a city haunted by its secrets, and the quest for redemption, no matter the price. Listen to the Crying Wolf Podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If it's Texas sports, Craig Way knows all. Back to the Craig Way Show on 1300 The Zone. We're back. It's the Craig Way Show with Hall of Fame broadcaster and voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way.
I went home with a waitress, the way I always do. How was I to know she was with the Russians too?
3:42 here on a Monday afternoon on 1300 The Zone. What are you bringing us back with here?
Well, Warren Zevon.
Yeah.
Send lawyers, guns, and money.
The great Warren Zevon. Everybody knows him from Werewolves of London, but he was quite the artist, quite the poet. You know, he's got that great line in Werewolves of London, right toward the end of the song, where he says, "I saw a werewolf drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's, and his hair was perfect." So when I was out in Pasadena for the Rose Bowl, the first one that Texas played against Michigan, I went over to the Beverly Hilton where they had the press conferences, and I noticed at the Beverly Hilton they still had a Trader Vic's restaurant, and I think just about all of them are gone now, or there's just very few of them. There used to be one in Dallas, but there was one there, and I said, I got to go in there and have a pina colada, even though I don't like pina coladas. So I would not have worked in Rupert Holmes' song. Do you like pina coladas? I don't.
You're the one trying to escape.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But I did go in and I did have one, and they knew. I mean, because people probably do that all the time. It's a very touristy thing to do. But I had something to eat with it as well, and a glass of water, so I didn't have to drink that much of the pina colada.
Yeah, when I went to Rocco's in Omaha in the dead of winter, I did not ask for a Jell-O shot.
Oh, no Jell-O shot at Rocco's. Okay. For folks who don't know, You're talking about in Omaha right there. Yeah. And they keep the running count on the board.
And LSU had a runaway lead that was left over from the last year.
As always. And so they're going to be missed. I'm assuming they're probably not going to be in the College World Series because I don't think they're going to be in the NCAA field unless they, get really hot and then win 4 games in 4 days to win the SEC tournament because it's single elimination. They started that last year.
How many in a row have they lost now? 9?
8.
8
straight. Yeah, they're struggling. They're struggling. I think they're 24 and 21 now. And you mentioned Texas Tech and Oklahoma canceled a baseball game.
Yeah, it's supposed to be weather in Frisco tomorrow.
Yeah, and I would tell you probably there's some other factors in play there. Among those, the fact that playing that game would probably do Oklahoma no good at all in terms of the RPI. We see this happen late in the season where games get canceled. In the case of Oklahoma and Texas Tech, their head coaches are 2 very, very close friends. Skip Johnson, the coach at OU, and Tim Tadlock, the coach at Texas Tech. So it was probably an easy decision for them to come to. Texas Tech is really struggling. They're 22 and 22. And they're much like LSU right now. LSU's 24 and 21. Tech is 22 and 22. And both teams are 6 and 15 in their respective conferences. Tech is 6 and 15 in the Big 12, and LSU 6 and 15 in the SEC. So it was probably a pretty easy decision for them to decide not to play. Speaking of Texas Tech, this kind of came down as a stunner because there were a lot of folks who took note of the fact that Brendan Sorsby, the Cincinnati quarterback, transferred to Texas Tech, and like Tech is in position now. They'll continue. In fact, probably an upgrade at quarterback coming off of Baron Morton's star-crossed career in Lubbock, and he's ready to go. But word came down this morning that Brendan Sorsby is checking into a residential treatment program for a gambling addiction. This apparently has come in the wake of the discovery of Sorsby making thousands of dollars or making thousands of online bets on a variety of sports via a gambling app, which, of course, would jeopardize his eligibility at Texas Tech. The NCAA is investigating Sorsby's gambling, according to sources, as the organization forbids athletes from betting on both college and pro sports. Texas Tech said in the statement that the university, quote, is committed to supporting Brendan Sorsby through his recovery process and to ensure his long-term health and well-being. So according to sources, he bet on Indiana football while he was redshirting for the Hoosiers as a true freshman in 2022. He did play in one game as a reserve. The bets in 2022 were on Indiana to win, and none came in a game in which he appeared. His gambling has not drawn the attention of law enforcement, according to sources, nor has he been linked to anyone attempting to influence the outcome of a game. His gambling, according to sources, was a steady flurry of small bets over a period of time. No timetable for his treatment. Sources say that his situation is being treated as a mental health matter and that Sorsby will be afforded all the time he needs. His decision as a high-profile college athlete to enter a facility to treat a gambling addiction while enrolled is unprecedented. And he transferred to Tech in the offseason from Cincinnati. He was one of the most sought-after players in the transfer portal. Reportedly was in line to make more than $5 million this year at Texas Tech. So I know folks are going to immediately draw the line and say disposable income and all that kind of stuff. But apparently this was happening before he was even at Texas Tech. So as for the on-field future, the NCAA does have a pretty strict policy against any type of gambling by athletes on intercollegiate, amateur, or professional athletics competition. And violators are ineligible for competition subject to appeal. So NCAA is not going to comment on it right now because of confidentiality rules, according to the NCAA in a statement. They said, however, the NCAA takes sports betting very seriously and is committed to the protection of student-athlete well-being and the integrity of competition. The association works with integrity monitoring services, state regulators, and other stakeholders to conduct appropriate due diligence whenever reports are received. So it could be a very difficult situation for Brendan Sorsby individually and for the Texas Tech football program as a whole. All right, we'll be back to wrap up hour number 2 on 1300 The Zone.
Hey, baseball fans, catch the Round Rock Express right here on 1300 The Zone. All the action and excitement from the ballpark. Don't miss a pitch. It's Round Rock Express baseball, only on 1300 The Zone.
She keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Harbaugh Harge here with Covert Chevy Hutto. This April, the Blue Bonnets are blooming, and so are the savings. Right now, get $13,750 off of MSRP on a new 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 LTZs and $11,000 off of MSRP on the new 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 Custom Trail Bosses. Just like Blue Bonnet season, these deals won't last long. Visit Covert Chevy Hutto today, right off of 79. And experience the Covert difference. CovertChevyHuddle.com. Together, let's drive.
It's a celebration 250 years in the making.
And we want everyone in America, from Maine to Montana, from Alabama to Alaska, to be a part of it.
This year marks America's 250th anniversary, and we're coming together from coast to coast at Star-Spangled events, live performances, and the largest day of giving in American history.
Join the nationwide celebration at America250.org.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Dang, I forgot the wakeboard. How am I supposed to enjoy myself without my favorite water activity? I mean, sure, we could still go tubing, fishing, or even just relax on a floaty, but without the wakeboard, what's the point?
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
We heard Wednesday is the worst day of the week, so we made Whopper Wednesday at Burger King. Flame grilled beef, crisp produce on a perfectly toasted bun. Every detail stacked just right, all for only $3.99. Whether it's been weeks or years, get yourself a taste of that unmistakable flame grilled flavor on Whopper Wednesday for just $3.99. Or make it a small combo for only $6.99. Consider Wednesday fixed, because you rule. Wednesdays in April only at participating U.S. restaurants. Prices vary. Tax extra. Must ask for offer or apply before checkout. Terms apply. BK.com/terms.
Staples has hundreds of ways to grow your business this spring, like spectacular signs, brilliant brochures, eye-popping posters, mouth-watering menus, and more. Shop now through June 13th and save up to $150 on all your custom prints. Staples. That was easy.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
Imagine, if you can, the torment, the confusion. Her brilliant daughter vanished without warning, without a word.
I didn't know how to start looking for her.
So what is that like?
It's hell. It's just frustration and just helplessness.
But the disappearance of Nancy Rennie's daughter, Carrie, was quite unlike any other. Because Carrie hadn't exactly vanished, but retreated beyond the shadows to release rage in torrents of text messages to wound her worried family and terrorize that man.
I would get 50, 60 a day.
A day?
Yeah, all day long.
Was their brief fling so terrible? Why all that hate? Why deadly attacks on an imagined rival?
911, let's get a severe emergency. Oh, yeah, I've been shot.
And innocent people caught in the middle were blamed, even framed.
The detective just kept yelling at me, "There's something you need to tell us," and I didn't know anything.
Our latest podcast takes us to America's Midwest, to a blooming love story. I'm Keith Morrison, and this is Something About Carrie, an all-new podcast from Dateline.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
Longhorns baseball plays here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Okay, heading toward the back end here, obviously, in the 3 o'clock hour. And we do have, as I mentioned, special guest, in the 4 o'clock hour, working diligently at the ballpark. I did want to mention that we've got a pair of tickets that we're going to give away the Dave Matthews Day, Monday, May 11th at Moody Center. And to be in the drawing, to be eligible to have your name drawn, here's what you got to do. You download the free and easy iHeartRadio app. You do a search for AM 1300 The Zone. It pops up, and then you tap that little red button that's got a white microphone on it, and you leave us a message. That's our talkback microphone. And say, hey, I was hearing on Craig Way Show, you guys are giving away tickets to see Dave Matthews. So I want him to crash into me there. Right? So anyway, so you mentioned the keyword you heard. Today's keyword, you can hear right there. Well, not Dave's voice. Guitar. Guitar is the key word there. So again, download the iHeartRadio app and then search AM 1300 The Zone. When it pops up, tap the red button with the white microphone. Leave us a message with your voice on the talkback microphone saying, I was listening to Craig Way Show. The key word is guitar for today. And you'll be in the drawing. It's that simple. 4 o'clock hour coming up on 1300 The Zone.
Oh, when you come crash into me.
Friday, May 1st, it's Jurassic Ballpark at Del Diamond, presented by United Heritage Credit Union. Watch the Express take on the Dodgers AAA affiliate and meet lifelike dinosaurs around the park. Then stick around for a Budweiser fireworks eruption. Tickets at rrexpress.com.
In this edition of the Marketers Report, Chris Eppel, head of marketing for the Americas, Harman JBL, weighs in on the importance of audio.
It's been amazing over the last couple of years to see what's happened with audio. We've doubled our investment in the last 2 years in the audio space. We find it to be highly critical to our business.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live conversations, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ownwell. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ownwell.com/terms. Individual results may vary.
Ownwell has saved us over $2,000 in 2 years. Trying to protest your taxes on your own, it can drive somebody mad. Get onto Ownwell, create an account, input information about your house. They do everything for you, and it's amazing.
Your property taxes aren't set in stone. They can be reduced. Ownwell combines savvy technology and deep local expertise to save real estate owners real money. Plus, Ownwell handles everything from paperwork to negotiations and even attending hearings on your behalf. Ownwell saves you time and money. Want to see how much Ownwell can save you on your property taxes? Just enter an address and see your tax savings estimate. See how much you can save with Ownwell right now. Text HOME to 64,000. Text HOME to 64,000. That's HOME to 64,000.
Skip this. Tap that red talkback mic on the iHeartRadio app while listening to your favorite station. You guys rock. Instant feedback. And the best feature, if you mess up,
hopefully I'm sending these messages correctly.
Do it again. Leave a talkback now on the free iHeartRadio app.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the OSAA, are the 99,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Oregon. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
From the Audiovisual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KDET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app. It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
Pitch, Stewart drives it left center field, hit well. Flying out to the warning track, it hits the warning track and bounces off the wall. Stewart cruises into second, a 2-run double, and she's driven in 3. The Longhorns lead 4-0 in the second. Will loop off the fists, drops in center field for Henry. Scoring is Nichols, and the Longhorns extend the lead to 12-2. Right-handed Stewart, 2-0. Demolishes it! Way back left field! A grand slam, and Texas leads 5-1, and Stewart has tied Reese Atwood's single-season home run record. Hit to right field, back goes Plotz at the warning track at the wall, it's gone! And Katie Stewart breaks the single-season home run record, her 24th of the year, and the Longhorns lead 9-2.
First pitch on the ground with a high hop for Martinez. Bibby scoops it up and throws on to first, and the Longhorns run rule the Kentucky Wildcats. Texas sweeps the series and puts themselves in great position to try to get in that top 4 for the SEC tournament, which will be back here in just over a week.
From Hawkins Field on the campus of Vanderbilt University in Nashville, it's the Texas Longhorns against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Here's the 1-0 to swings here, and it's a high fly ball, but it is hooking. Let's see. That's a home run. That is a home run. It hit the top of the wall and bounced over. That's a Carton Fisk special right down the line, and it bounced off the top for Aiden Robbins, his 16th home run of the year, and the Longhorns take a 1-0 lead. We had a 1-out home run on top of the screen fence behind. The wall swings here, and it's a ball well. This one out to left center, back to the warning track. You can say goodnight to it. Aiden Robbins does it again. This time out to left center. Robbins home run number 17. RBIs 43 and 44 for number 43. And the Longhorns now lead it 4-0. Fly to right, stands in. Swings to the first pitch and drives it well. Out to right. You can say goodnight to it. off the screen behind the wall. Josh Livingston with his 4th home run of the season and his 2nd in his many road SEC games. He had one in the Saturday contest, and the Longhorns now have blown it open. They lead at 8-0. The 0-1 to Homer. Swings here, pops it up. This ought to do it. Coming in, Duplantier settles under. Gumbo with a catch, and that'll do it. 1, 2, 3 go the Commodores in the 9th. And the Longhorns take game 1 of the series. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Swung on and a ground ball. That will make it up the middle, a base hit. Rodriguez around third. He will score. Ethan Mendoza ties it. 3 consecutive hits by the Longhorns, and it's a 2-2 ball game. The 2-2. And strike 3 called. He dropped it in again with that breaker. And that is now 6 strikeouts for Luke Harrison as he retires the Commodores in the 4th. The stretch. Here's the 3-0. Inside ball 4. The Longhorns take the lead on a bases-loaded walk to Temo Becerra. Trotting in to score from third is Carson Tinney. Moving to third base is Anthony Pack Jr. Moving up to second is Callum Early. And an RBI credited to Temo Becerra on a bases-loaded walk. The Longhorns are back in front, 4-3. That would prove to be the margin of victory as Texas wins 4-3. We welcome you back here, third and final hour on 13 Under the Zone. Craig Way, joined by the producer, Jake Herman. For those of you that are like viewing, I'll show this to you. This is a mess. This is the actual scorecard I had from yesterday, and you can see where there's a lot going on there in the 10th inning that way.
No kidding.
And then also with Vanderbilt and the bottom of 10, there's a lot happening there. But
well, you're lucky nobody batted around in any inning of that game.
To say nothing of that, to say nothing of this 9 pitchers.
Oh boy,
for the Commodores.
Yeah, there was a lot of. They ran out of mound visits at one point in the ball game.
Yeah, and then they got an extra one because it went extra innings, and we weren't sure of the rule of that at the time. And we had somebody Facebook message me that said, "Hey, according because we didn't have a rule book with us at the time, and said the NCAA does allow you to have an extra mound visit per extra inning. It's kind of like having the extra timeouts that happen, when it goes overtime in college football, that sort of thing." But Texas did win that game against Vanderbilt for 3 and 10 innings, and they did take the series. And coming up in a few minutes, we'll visit with Jim Schlossnagle, Longhorns head coach. The brand new college baseball polls are out. The top 4 spots in the 2, there's a consultant, I think it's 5. Let's see, Baseball America, D1 Baseball, NCBWA, Perfect Game, and USA Today Coaches. There's 5 polls, and probably the 2 that are most regularly referenced are D1 Baseball and the NCBWA, the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association, because these are the people who see the teams the most. In both cases, in both polls, the top 4 spots are identical. UCLA, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, and Texas. Those are the top 4. Then after that, Georgia is 5 in D1, followed by Oregon State, Texas A&M at number 7, Auburn, Coastal Carolina, Mississippi State, and Kansas.
Top 10 matchup this weekend then.
Yeah, and in the NCBWA, Texas A&M, as I mentioned, 7. Oregon State and Georgia just flip-flopped in the writers' poll there. Oregon State is 5, playing that independent schedule. Georgia 6, A&M 7, Auburn 8, Mississippi 9, and Mississippi State 9, and Coastal Carolina 10. So, yes, it is a top 10 matchup for Texas this week. The second 10 on D1 Baseball in their poll starts with Kansas all the way up to number 11. Kansas is more of a postseason threat in baseball this year than they were in basketball.
How about that?
Think about that for a moment. Southern Miss 12, then Oregon, Florida State, Oklahoma is 15. Nebraska baseball and men's basketball more of a threat than Cornhusker football.
Nebraska athletics outside of football having a moment.
Women's basketball made the tournament. Volleyball, one of the best annually. Ole Miss 17, West Virginia 18, Arizona State 19, Boston College 20 in the final 5 in the D1 poll is Southern Cal, Arkansas, Virginia, Alabama, and Florida. Those are the teams there. Florida dropping to number 25 because they dropped 2 of 3 at home to Texas A&M over the weekend. That was really big. So it's just something to keep in mind that the Aggies are surging. They're a game ahead of Texas in the conference standings and a half game back of Georgia. Georgia's still on top. The Bulldogs are 15-6. Texas A&M is 14-6. Longhorns are 13-7. So they are a game and a half out of first and 1 game out of second place. And Mississippi State right behind them at 13-8. They're just a half game back of Texas. So all of those teams and others in the SEC are expected to be in NCAA regionals. But now it's all about the jockeying for position. Can you be a regional host? Mississippi State has a shot to be a regional host, and they might be back in the field of 16 when the new projections come out tomorrow. But if they have a productive weekend against Texas, then clearly they would be in that conversation. Longhorns were, I think, the number 3 overall national seed a week ago, maybe so again, or right there. They're in good position if they, let's say, if they just take 2 out of 3 or average 2 out of 3, get 6 more wins in conference play, that would get them to 19 wins in the conference. I think they'd be a top 8. If they get to 20, I think they'd be a lock to be a top 8 national seed. We'll ask Jim Schlossnagle about all that stuff coming up. All right. Stay with us. We'll visit with Schloss, and we've got some other things to get to here in the final hour of the program on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app. A lot of springtime sports are going on. Major League Baseball, college baseball, the PGA Tour, not to mention the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs. But the question I always ask is, are you enjoying all of this on your home entertainment system? If not, why not give my friend Tom McKay a call at Audio Visual Consultations? You've heard me tell you what experts Tom and his staff are when it comes to home entertainment, but AV Consultations has expanded to become dealers and custom installers of Foresight golf simulators. So if you're wanting to improve your golf game, AV can get you hooked up with a Foresight simulator that can do the trick. AV Consultations now also offers full home and landscape lighting and automatic lighting control. Give Tom McKay and his staff a call today at 512-255-8678. That's 512-255-8678, or you can find them on the web at avconsultations.com. Let Tom McKay and Audio Visual Consultations help you realize the home entertainment system of your dreams.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. If you manage a business or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. Again, that's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Spring is in the air, and Aleve long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring is a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just 1 dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Over 250 years ago, America didn't like the taxes, so we dumped the tea. That same unstoppable spirit drives Ram trucks. Now, with the Declaration of Deals, we're pledging our allegiance to the American people with great deals on the Ram 1500, welcoming back the legendary Hemi V8, the most luxurious, technologically advanced, and strongest Ram 1500 ever. Or get a great deal on the most advanced Ram heavy-duty pickup ever with the available Cummins Turbo Diesel, delivering 1,075 pound-feet of torque, built to tow, haul, and dominate any challenge. All backed by a 10-year or 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Because nothing stops Ram. Hurry into your Ram dealer for the declaration of deals. Based on standard and available features offered, excludes BEVs, applied to 2026 model year vehicles, non-transferable. Visit Mopar.com for complete details and a copy of the Powertrain Limited Warranty. Cummins is a registered trademark of Cummins Inc. Ram and Hemi are registered trademarks of FCA US LLC.
From the Lorenz and Lorenz Traffic Center.
Good afternoon, drivers. It looks like we have a 10-minute traffic delay on southbound 35 right now between Airport Boulevard and Cesar Chavez. Also, it looks like some road debris is partially affecting the off-ramp from northbound 183 to Duval Road. I'm Carson Parnell with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Burger King. Burger King has been working on the Whopper, and thanks to you, it's never tasted better. Flame grilled beef, crisp produce, and a perfectly toasted bun. Whether it's been weeks or years, come try the Whopper again for only $3.99 on Whopper Wednesday. Terms apply. Visit bk.com/terms.
Now here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, media. That's media. Enter it now.
That red talkback mic on the free iHeart app could win you something amazing.
The iHeart Awards in LA.
Plus, it's the fastest way to get your voice on your favorite station.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
I love you guys. Have a good day.
Try the talkback mic now. Just open the free iHeart Radio app.
It's the Morning Kickoff Show with Mike Hartball Hart and Mark Henry. Weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. Only on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Sam with a 1-2 pitch to Will Hampton. Swing and a miss. It's over. A foul tip into the net, and the Longhorns find a way to win the game and the series. Sam Cozart toughing it out. 63 pitches out of the pen. The Longhorns win it 4-3, and they take 2 out of 3 from the Commodores of Vanderbilt.
And we're back to the Craig Way Show. Have a message for Craig? Share it by using the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app.
4:15 here on the Zone. Now listen, it wasn't just me who said it. A lot of folks said it. The Longhorns found a way. And that, I guess, is the way of life in the Southeastern Conference. No matter the sport, and certainly baseball right in the middle of that as well. You find a way to win. You find a way to win a series. You find a way, kind of in the old Jim Valvano term of survive and advance. Jim Schlossnagle, the Longhorns head coach, joins us now on the hotline. I appreciate the time. I know just to let folks know a little bit, Jim, about this. First and foremost, the find a way is a pretty accurate way to describe what you have to go through on a week-by-week basis in this league, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, Craig. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, we call it win any way. Like you can pronounce that win anyway or win anyway. And it's not always pretty, but in the sport of baseball, it doesn't have to be. And you just kind of have to hang in there and keep making pitches and keep trying to put together a good at bat and make a play and see if it does fall your way. But certainly yesterday was huge for us. It's certainly better than the alternative, and it definitely makes Monday taste a whole lot better than this time last week when we won a series, but you lose the third game 2-1. So we'll take it.
I part of the reason I wanted to have you come on today, there's two main reasons. One, to tell fans a little bit about what goes on an otherwise team off day when you come off of a weekend series and you got a midweek game tomorrow, the process that a lot of your guys go through and what you and your coaching staff do in mapping out the plan for the week clearly. And I know it starts for the coaches even before that, but just on a Monday, what is a Monday like for your guys and for your coaching staff?
Yeah, well, I mean, it can certainly look differently depending on whether we've been on the road or at home. If you've been on the road, I have coaches with young children and maybe haven't seen their wife in a while, and so they may spend half the day at home. But for the coaches, at least for me, I mean, I was in here probably by about 9 o'clock after I got a haircut and started watching video on Sam Houston. Wanted to watch some video of some of our hitters from this past weekend. I personally never look past any opponent, so I don't look. We have other people that start looking at Mississippi State, for example. I'll start doing that on Wednesday. Our players, they have to go to class. They get a lift in the afternoon, and now they're back. pretty much all of our players are over in the south end zone of the football stadium right now, getting in that nice, hot tub, cold tub, red light therapy, get all that recovery modalities that we have over that way. But it's basically a day of rest, kind of mentally regroup and grab a good dinner tonight and then get ready to go again tomorrow.
Good. All right. Now, the one other reason that I wanted to have you on today is that we haven't had a chance to talk too much about this because we have a fixed amount of finite amount of time than when we record the pregame interview before. But you've made good references to your coaching staff. But I wanted to give you the floor a little bit to talk about each of your guys and what they have meant to the team this year and to the program since you came in a year ago, and what they have done and their contributions to how this program wins a conference championship a year ago, is a national seed, right now projected to be a national seed, is in the thick of the fight in the conference race again. And I know you say no man's an island, and I know you're very fond of what your coaching staff does.
Yeah, I mean, I actually was talking to somebody about this morning. I've been head coach for however many years, 30 some years or somewhere in there. And I've had some awesome coaching staffs at every stop, but this one might be the most special combination of each guy's individual talent. Max Weiner, coaching the pitchers, and, all he's done is every year, whether it be at A&M or Texas, led the Southeastern Conference in ERA and continues to take guys who are, whether it be come from other schools or high schools, help them develop pitches and give them a chance to be elite. Troy Tulowitzki, as great as a major league player as he was, and a guy who was on a Hall of Fame ballot last year, he's an even better coach. He's committed to the game, committed to development of young people. He's here all the time for our hitters. I can't imagine especially being an infielder and a great college player, the opportunity to develop under Tulo is something truly unique. He's a relentless worker. Nolan Kane, widely regarded as the best recruiting coordinator in the country, coaches our catchers, coaches third base, has been a third base coach in the SEC for, I think, over 10 years now. And that's, that is a daunting task in itself, having done that at LSU, A&M, and now the University of Texas. So, I could go deeper than that, but, those are the guys who impact our team the most and impact our recruiting. And they certainly, we're very blessed to have them at Texas and hope to keep them here for a really long time.
Visiting with Jim Schlossnagle, Longhorns head coach here on 1300 The Zone. This is a question I think I asked you about a year ago. I ask Sark this question every year. I ask Sean Miller this question during this past season, and I asked Vic Schaefer the question as well. When you get to a certain point in the season and is turning the far turn here with 3 conference series to go, what has pleased you most about your team? And all coaches have the concerns and the question marks and the things like that go through their mind before you enter the stretch drive. What pleases you most about what you see from your guys? And by the same token, the things that are still out there as action items for you and for the staff.
Yeah, I think the thing that pleased me most about the team in general is how we've responded to, a loss. I don't know that we've lost. Well, I guess the A&M was a back-to-back loss, but we normally have responded really well to a loss or certainly some tough ones. We lost some tough ones early in the last innings. Kind of didn't give them away, but just got them taken from us. Some of it was being given away with 3 bases, but I think it would be that. I'm obviously pleased with how our young pitchers have developed, and Sam Cozart and Brett Crossland and Brody Walls and Michael Winter, who everybody will get to see pitch tomorrow night. We still think he is as good as the rest of them as well. And I think, a guy like Pack, has certainly developed into a premier player in the SEC. So there's a lot to be really pleased with. Tinney's defense behind the plate. There's never been a good baseball team without a good catcher. And Tinney has developed into one of the top, if not the top catcher in the country. Things that keep me up at night. I mean, one, just the health of our team. I want to try to keep, we got to keep the best players healthy and on the field. I think, one thing we've been talking a lot about, and I think we talked about this on Saturday or maybe Sunday morning, is just belief. I think, it takes a lot of, you cannot be timid or weak to play at Texas. And there's a lot that goes into that. And, I used to be at other schools and hear Augie or Coach Pierce talk about that. And when you're somewhere else, you're like, whatever, it can't be that big a difference. It is different. It's different here. You have to be built for it. And if you let doubt creep in, then that can snowball on you. And I think we have some guys, we just finished talking about it with a few of them, that just need to reset their belief in themselves. And that's partially my job and the staff's job, but you can't play feeling like you got chains around your legs. You have to play free, and you're going to make some mistakes that way, but you'd rather go down, playing with freedom and aggression than you would being timid. And so that's why I still believe if we can stay healthy, our best baseball is ahead of us.
Let me stay on that subject of belief, and I want to get your thoughts. And I know obviously this comes in consultation with Max Wiener, but what inspires the belief to bring in a freshman like Brett Crossland, who comes into a tough situation there in the fifth inning yesterday and is able to get a line out and then a strikeout to end the inning. And then you go to Cozart in the eighth, and he gets 2 quick outs, and then all of a sudden there's a walk, there's a double down the line on the first pitch. You make the decision to go to an intentional walk, and then he gets a line out there, works out of runners on the corners, including the game-winning potential run in the ninth, and then you got 2 in scoring position there in the 10th to be able to come out of it, which included a balk in there as well. What inspires the belief that you and that Max have in those young guys that they can still get it done even in the highest of leverage situations?
Yeah, who they are as people. We're around them every day, and we see how they carry themselves around the building with confidence, how they interact with their teammates, how they handle, any level of adversity or challenge that we put ahead of them. And that's why they're in those spaces. And we know that at the very least, they're not afraid. They're going to attack with their best stuff. And if it doesn't go their way, we can all live with it. And we certainly also know their work ethic, right? Where does confidence come from? It comes from being prepared. It comes from your own self-image. It comes from having a supportive environment. It comes from past success. And so as those guys continue to build equity in the program with how they operate and how they perform, then they're going to, they're not going to be perfect. They're going to fail, but you can live and die with guys like that. And I think that's what, when Max went to the mound yesterday before the last pitch, he looked at Sam and said, "Hey, what are you committed to? And if it doesn't work out, what are you willing to fail with?" And he said, "I want to throw a cutter." And I said, "All right, let's do it." And he threw one of the better ones of the year and got the strikeout we needed. So it's just who they are as people. You can put Anthony Pack in that, Adrian Rodriguez, Robbins, Tinney. We just need more of them.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about Pack next, because clearly I know you had a lot of belief that he could have a good year. But for a guy to come in as a true freshman, for you to have him on both corners of the outfield, depending on the game and the opponent and the situation, and for him to be hitting 350 and always seems to have a fearless approach, whether it's at the plate or in the outfield. And he's still learning, obviously, on some things. But how about your thoughts on what you expected and what you're getting out of that freshman, Anthony Pack Jr.?
Yeah, I don't think anybody could have expected this because it's so rare for a freshman to come in and do what he's doing. And when it does happen, we had a couple guys when I was at A&M that did that, Gavin Grahovic and Caden Sorrell. Well, those guys are going to be first rounders this year, very, very high picks. They're high level players. And Pack, I think, he came in, we loved his mentality. We loved his fearlessness. He just had to get stronger, had to get bigger, had to make some adjustments as a hitter. But how he, like we were talking about Cozart and Crossland, how he walked in the building, how he took coaching. You could coach him hard, and he didn't back down from that. You knew there was something special in there. And then once we got into the season, and we had, he's competing for a job, and there was a few injuries. Their injury to Jonah impacted this a little bit. We knew he was going to get to play, and I think, the fact that he got off to a good start, and then he just knew he was going to be in there. I think that's really helped him settle in, and now we have what hopefully will be a great, Texas Longhorn for the next 2 or 3 years, and then on into professional baseball.
Jim Schlossnagle, the Longhorns head coach, joining us for a couple more minutes here. I want to ask you about something that the Sunday rain out in College Station necessitated by logistics and timing and the calendar of you flipping your rotation and going to Dylan Volantis on Friday. And I remember asking you about this, and you said he's going to start this Friday. We will see how things go. And you meant that, I think, not only for Dylan, but for the rest of your rotation as well. Now that it's happened in a couple of weekends, do you like how it has set up and how it has worked to this point?
Yes, obviously. Again, we I think I've used this with you before. We have a saying in our program: everything in life happens for you, not to you. So, if we don't get that game rained out, then Dylan's probably still on Sundays or Saturday, which is fine. I mean, we were winning those games when he pitched too, but certainly he has really taken off in that role, at least to this point. He's going to get a big challenge this weekend against maybe the best offense we've seen all year outside of A&M. And so I'm super pleased with it. And I can't reveal every single thought we have with how we manage the team. You also, when you're making those decisions, you got to take into account how it impacts everybody else. And we want to make sure everybody else remains confident and understands why we're doing what we're doing. And, Luke and Ruger, we're all in with everything. And that's what makes this team, especially on the pitching side, real special.
I'm always specific to make sure that when I ask a coach about the down the road things, that it's only intended to ask the coach. I'm not asking the student athlete. I'm asking the coach. And here's where I'm going with this. How much do you and the staff at this point, here it is in very late April, pay attention to things like the stuff that all of us feel compelled that we have to pay attention to as talking points, if nothing else, regional projections, rankings, things of that nature? Do you pay them any attention at all? Is it something that you even visit with the coaches? And how much down the road talking do you even do to your guys, other than baseball being the day-to-day existence that it is, permits you to do?
Yeah. Well, within the walls of our coaching staff, we've never once talked about a regional projection or a ranking or like that's literally non-existent for us, and nor anywhere else I've been. That's not something that I've ever looked at because we can't control that. Do we talk about what do we best need to do, when we're in a situation where if we hold serve, we're going to be in a regional, what's the best way to win an SEC tournament or a regional or a super regional to stack your pitching up? Yes, for sure. We talk about that. We talk about that's why we need to play this game tomorrow. We got to get Mike Winter on the mound. We got to get Max Grubbs in the games. Maybe Jason Flores and Cade Bing. We need to get guys, opportunities and stretch them out a little bit. So when if we get in a loser's bracket or we're trying to play matchups in different games to advance to Omaha, we're prepared to do it. So, but with regard to the player, no, everybody knows what the ultimate season is, and that's when you're playing in late May and June, if you're fortunate enough to be there, but you can't control that as a player right now. They just need to stay focused on being healthy and nutrition and prepared for each individual game and their mindset, and let the coaches take care of the things that are down the road.
Final thing here, and this you'd mentioned about you really want to get an opportunity to see a little more of Michael Winter, and he'll go to the mound for you tomorrow. How much also is it important for him? Does it matter that he works with, if you say, having Andrew Ermis behind the plate just to get him some more time and get Tenney a little bit of a rest? But I saw all the respect the guys had for Tenney on the plane with all the punishment he took over the weekend. And somebody was walking, maybe it was Burns, walking down the aisle with a sack full of extra meals. And all the players were saying, give it to Tenney, give it to Tenney, when he was going down on that. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on the balance of that because of what Carson means to your team, and yet also keep a guy like Hermes fresh and keep Tenney fresh while you have a freshman on the mound tomorrow, at least to start.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a game early in the year. I don't remember. May have been Cozart. May have been Cozart's first start where may have been some other moment where we wanted to make sure that that Kenny was in there catching. That I doubt that'll be the case tomorrow, because you're just going to weigh both options. What's the most important thing right now for our team? Right now, the most important thing, unless something changes between now and tomorrow, is that Kenny can get off his feet a little bit. He'll still DH and have a chance to, if we need him late in the game, we can do that. But no, we feel good about Ermis. We feel good about Corville, both those guys, and certainly they catch Michael Winter and the other pitchers all the time. So, and Ermis had a big moment for us in the Oklahoma series when he had to catch and threw that guy out. Threw a guy out at second base to help us win a game. So we're excited to see Andrew play.
Hey, I did leave one thing out. I got to get your thoughts on this. I meant to ask you about this when we landed yesterday. What goes through your mind to say, yeah, here's a guy, Callum Early, who has seen action in all of 6 ball games. Let's get him into a high leverage situation with an at bat. He winds up getting a walk for you. What determines that in your mind and visiting with obviously with Nolan or with Tulo to make the decision to have a young man like that get into the game in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, it was sometimes you're just taking a shot, right? And Cal is. He has put together some, good simulated games, some good batting practices for us as of late. We feel like he was swinging the bat pretty well. Felt like he was a kind of a sinker ball pitcher that would have played well in his bat playing. And he was at least got up there and took a hack at it the first pitch and hit a ball up the middle, which is right where they were playing. But yeah, it was more matchups, and you're running down the end of the bench there. We only have so many players, and felt like a left-handed hitter. He was the last lefty we have on our bench, so it felt like that was the best matchup in the moment.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's been a busy time, and I look forward to seeing you at the ballpark tomorrow, and we'll have some fun this week. Thanks so much for joining me.
All right. Thanks, Craig. Have a greait day.
You too. Hook 'em. All right. That is Jim Schlossnagle, Longhorns head coach. Yeah, and that was one of those things that we looked at was we talked about Cal getting into the ball game there in the 8th inning and hit a hard smash ground ball that almost got through there and was a fielder's choice off of that. But then comes up later and gets hit by a pitch in the 10th inning. It was a part of that and kept things in motion that ultimately led to Carson Tinney scoring what proved to be the game-winning run on the bases loaded walk to Temo Becerra. All right, we have more coming up. We'll continue here on 13 Under the Zone in the iHeartRadio app.
Tickets are on sale now, y'all, to experience country music history in the making at our 2026 iHeart Country Festival presented by Capital One. Saturday, May 2nd. Country's biggest stars will be right here in Austin. See Kane Brown, Parker McCullum, Riley Green, Shabuzi, Dylan Scott, Russell Dickerson, Gretchen Wilson, Chase Matthew, Lauren Elena. All hosted by Bobby Bones. Don't miss your chance to see country music's biggest superstars, all on one stage. Tickets are on sale now. Don't miss out. Get yours before they sell out at Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. And you can be there in person at our 2026 iHeart Country Festival, presented by Capital One.
Your summer travel budget is about to get $1,000 heavier.
No way.
You better start planning and listen weekdays for many chances a day to win bonus bucks.
Hey guys, I'm Lourdes. I'm Hannah, and we're Rowdy Cowgirls from Rowdy Cowboy in Round Rock, Texas. Come see us. We're excited to meet you and get rowdy.
From the ABA Heating and Cooling Weather Center, this is Zone Weather.
Austin area weather calling for partly cloudy skies early this evening. A chance of scattered showers and storms overnight, a low of 75. Partly cloudy tomorrow. We'll see a high of 93 and a low tomorrow night of 74.
This report is sponsored by Burger King. Burger King has been working on the Whopper. And thanks to you, it's never tasted better. flame grilled beef, crisp produce, and a perfectly toasted bun. Whether it's been weeks or years, come try the Whopper again for only $3.99 on Whopper Wednesday. Terms apply. Visit bk.com/terms.
If you care about predictions and props, right now, it's all about playoff pressure from the hardwood to the ice. BetOnline has always been the home of real sports wagering deep markets, sharp odds, and player props built for real fans. Basketball playoffs are heating up, stars taking over, series swinging on a single shot. And in hockey, it's all speed, grit, and sudden death moments where one goal changes everything. BetOnline delivers live betting and in-game odds that move with every bucket, every breakaway, every goal. BetOnline, the game starts here.
We started Henyon and Walsh for people like you. People with integrity, honesty, and loyalty. The result? We care about you and your investment success. We're dedicated to your financial goals, so we'll always give you our best efforts because you've earned it. We're Henyon and Walsh and committed to you. Get a second opinion. Call 800-279-5279 or find us online. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Henyon & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Henyon & Walsh Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Did you know cornhole is an international sport with televised tournaments and players across the world? At theacl.com, home of the American Cornhole League, you can find local events to play in, learn the game, shop for boards and bags, and follow our National Pro Tour. Whether you're a beginner or already a backyard legend, it all starts at theacl.com.
Shh, here it comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Way Day now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home. Did you hear what just happened?
What?
Yeah, it's all live on the iHeartRadio app.
Breaking news.
The stories blowing up your group chat.
I spoke to Diddy.
The interviews everyone's talking about.
Just the two of them.
The real-time reactions.
Damn.
The wins.
Okay.
The losses. This isn't yesterday. This is happening right now.
Accurate news and fun shows.
And you're in the middle of it. Hit the talkback mic and jump into the conversation.
I've been leaving talkbacks every day.
iHeartRadio, where it's always happening live.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations waiting for you to explore right now, like 24/7 comedy.
Men don't settle there. We surrender.
Women, we never express the emotions we're actually feeling, right? I'm fine means I'm about to stab you in the neck.
Clips from today's top comedians and the greatest of all time.
Donut hole. If you want a donut, have a donut. Why are you eating the hole?
When you need a laugh, just open the free iHeartRadio app and search comedy.
You can actually change the station.
iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. We cover all 40 acres. Back to the Craig Way Show. Connect with Craig through the text line by texting ZONE to 81530, followed by your message. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud in sight. It stopped raining. Everybody's in the bay. And don't you know, it's a beautiful new day. Hey.
Everybody chant right now. A little yellow there. Okay, good. Do we have blue skies? I'm seeing cloudy stuff as I'm looking outside.
Oh, it's coming. The clouds are parting, and Craig, we have to enjoy it while we can this week.
Well, what? Thursday and maybe Friday.
Maybe Wednesday, too.
Really?
Looks a little murky.
Fortunately, tomorrow night's supposed to be okay for the Longhorns game against Sam Houston.
Yeah, you'll have a hot, muggy one.
Yeah. Hey, at least he could play. Listen, they had 2 games rained out in a 9-day span. Everybody was itchy. You know, the game last week against the Air Force Academy, it was so disappointing not to be able to have the game for a variety of reasons. Start with the fact that, and you heard Jim Schlossnagle, thanks again to Schloss for popping on with us, not just in that he couldn't get his guy, Michael Winter, on the mound because, again, there's pitchers he's got to take a look at. Brody Wall's in a little more high-leverage situation, but he's shown some really good things. He mentioned Jason Flores, who came on and actually did pretty decent the other night and Saturday night when things were kind of out of hand against Vanderbilt. These are the things, and I know what Jim means when he says that they pay no attention to what's going on with the regional projections, and I believe him on all of that. What they are preparing to do, and he kind of alluded to it, is getting guys like, say, a Michael Winter, perhaps backed up by a Max Grubbs or a Jason Flores or Brody Walls, to be reliable, dependable in a regional. We know what Dylan Valanis is going to give you. We know what Rugerio Haas and Luke Harrison provide as well in those kinds of things. But to win a regional, it's going to be the depth of the pitching that carries the day. Can you imagine the old days when they had the 48-team NCAA tournament field and they had the 6-team double elimination regional? You could just completely wear out a pitching staff in a regional alone. And, of course, in those days, you didn't have a super regional and went straight to Omaha. If you could survive that 6-team regional, double elimination regional, it's a testament to the historical depth of the Longhorn, not just pitching staff, but also the Longhorn teams, the program that Bib Falk, of course, Billy Dish had, back in the early 20th century. But when Bib Falk was the coach was when the College World Series really started. And they won the 3rd ever one. And the last one not to be played in Omaha was in Wichita in 1949. And then the first one, the very next year in Omaha, they won that one in 1950. So they won back-to-back in 49 and 50. But all the years where they got either to the national championship game and later the national championship series, whatever it might be, and all the times that they got to Omaha more than any other program, a lot of it was built on the pitching depth. And that's what they're trying to determine right now. And I think it would be fair to say that, as exciting as young players like Anthony Pack Jr., obviously Adrian Rodriguez can go to the plate with no fear at all. It's kind of work, and Aiden Robbins, a veteran, it's working with some guys, whether they're veterans or young guys, to overcome the uneasy feelings and battling the confidence bug and all that other kind of stuff to be ready. So I think that's important to keep in mind. And so they're trying to build all that for a regional. So maybe you get into a regional as a top 8 national seed, which Texas is tracking to do right now. What does that mean? It means that you'll probably have a solid number 2 team coming in, number 2 in the regional, and 3. And then you got a 4 seed who could be a team you could take out rather easily, or it might be a team with one really dynamite arm. Air Force had that back a few years ago. His name was Paul Skeens. And fortunately,
who, the catcher?
Yeah. In the midweek, he didn't even pitch. He just caught and DH'd and had a home run and all that. He did pitch in the regional, and Texas was able to beat him on Friday night to move on. But some teams, Keith Moreland said it best. He said, every team that makes the NCAA regional has at least one really good pitcher. And they usually have to trot them out in that regional opener on Friday.
Right, because what are your odds? Already as an underdog, you drop that first game, and that's it.
You just can't fight through it. So if you're on the other side of that, say you're the 1 seed, you have to make the decision. Do I hold back and hold my number 1 guy for the Saturday night? But you're rolling the dice if the other team has a really good pitcher. But if you can match it, even if it's piecemealing it together against a 4 seed that might be coming from the Ivy League or the Atlantic Sun or the SWAC or wherever, to where you would have, you can build it together and bridge it. It doesn't have to be 7 innings from, say, a Michael Winter, but maybe 4 or close to 5. And then you go with Max Grubbs for 3 or 4, and then you close it out. You can do it that way, and you've saved your best 3 arms, your weekend starters for the rest of that regional. And chances are, even if you do that, you're going to need to see somebody come back out of the pen later on in the regional. It'll happen that way. So those are the things they have to consider and look at before they even know who would come to town for a regional opponent. And again, right now, they're tracking to be a top 8 national seed. But this weekend will tell more. If they're able to win the series, they take another big step toward being that top 8 national seed. Then they got one last conference road trip to Knoxville to play Tennessee. Then they come back home the final weekend of the regular season against Missouri. There's one more Tuesday midweek game after tomorrow. It'll be the following Tuesday in a good RPI test against UTSA, the team that ended Texas season a year ago.
Oh, yeah, them.
Yeah. So, and they're in a fight right now in the American Athletic Conference. They're tied for first place in that league. So anyway, not putting carts before horses, but those are the kinds of things they're building toward as they go. We'll be back to wrap up today's edition of the program on 13 Under the Zone.
Get ready to cheer on your Round Rock Express right here on 1300 The Zone. From the first pitch to the final out, Round Rock Express baseball, only on 1300 The Zone.
With over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
Austin, San Antonio, and St. Louis.
Introducing Home Care Plus, a new subscription service from Lowe's that helps make life easier by giving members a hand with home maintenance. Let Lowe's tackle the tasks you keep meaning to do, like electric dryer vent cleaning, replacing hard-to-reach light bulbs, and more. Subscribe to Home Care Plus for just $99 a year and consider your to-do list done. Members get more at Lowe's. Available in select zip codes only. Cancel anytime. Non-refundable fee. Product purchase required. Terms and service restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dear employer,
my name is Phil Martin.
My name is Michael Raskovich.
Ronaldo Bird.
Zach Delizer. I am writing to express my excitement at the opportunity to join your team.
As someone on the spectrum,
I may communicate in ways that are different from what you are used to.
I possess a unique set of skills
that sets me apart from other candidates.
Thank you for your consideration.
An autistic inclusive workplace is good for business. It's time to make a change. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/win.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
All right, well, the first thing I know is that you need to obsess over customers.
That's Jeff Bezos, the founder and CEO of Amazon, and the richest person on earth. And I'm Jason Del Rey. As a reporter who's covered Amazon for the last 6 years, I've noticed that when I talk to Amazon employees, they all start to sound a lot like Bezos. There's this obsession with obsession.
It's obsessive, compulsive focus on the customer.
And delight.
Customer delight.
Delight the customer.
It's Amazon speak. It's their way of saying their #1 mission is to make customers' lives better. But is that intense focus always a good thing?
or does it come at a cost? This is Land of the Giants, a podcast about the biggest tech companies of our time, how they got their power, what they're doing with it, and how they're changing our lives in the process. Our first season is called The Rise of Amazon. We find out from Amazon executives exactly how much they know about us.
So what we find is that customers who watch a movie that they love, they buy more Tide. They just do.
We talk to CEOs with strong feelings about the way Amazon does business.
It's rope-a-dope. They're playing with you until the time they come in with the knockout punch. And if I were them, oh my God, are they a retailer? They're a data management company.
We learn about Amazon's impact on small communities when they move in and when they leave.
When they told me they were closing, all I could think of was, oh my God, driving home, I'm thinking, so what am I going to do in January when they close?
And we ask the question of our time. Is Amazon too powerful, too big?
And we just don't want to be the United States of Amazon. We just really don't.
Land of the Giants, The Rise of Amazon.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, your home for the Horns.
Okay, it's going to wrap it up for the program today. Our thanks to Longhorns head baseball coach Jim Schlossnagle for joining us. Speaking of Longhorn head coaches, tomorrow on the program, Steve Sarkisian. Sark will be with us to kind of a review not only of what he saw in the spring, but also the work they've done in the portal and everything that's going into the preparations for 2026. So be sure you join us tomorrow. I think Sark will be on with us in the first hour of the program. Of course, if you miss any part of the program on any day, you can always go back and listen to it on our podcast page at AM 1300 The Zone, courtesy of our producer, Jake Herman, who puts it together. He's going to start doing that right now from today's show. So we thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to visiting with you. I'll be at UFC Udish Falk Field tomorrow, and we'll bring you the program at 2 o'clock right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.